Так, что там запустилось? Запустилось. О, целых 6 человек. Тоже неплохо. Тоже неплохо. Что, это все, да? Даже по репостикам не особо кто-то перешел. Даже по истории не особо кто-то перешел. Точнее, как это, не история, как называется. Это херня это, господи. Ну, я понял. Ну, а может кто-то залетит еще, хрен знает. Так, там я репостнул, там я репостнул. Тут я репостнул. По сторису, да. Сторис. Там, по-моему, даже ничего не запустилось еще. До сих пор пока нету. Есть американская, точнее английская. И там через 2 минуты. Там через 2 минуты начнется. Нет, ВК я не блокирую, не разблокирую, ничего не делаю. Нехер было то подать. Так, там я репостнул, тут я все сделал. Может, в сторис сделать еще один. Наверное, я так думаю. Здорово, Ксения. Так, надо, наверное, я думаю, сторис сделать. Сейчас, секунду. Хотя, есть ли толк вообще, типа, от этого сториса? Нет, хотя, типа, толк-то есть, конечно, от всего, но... Сейчас поглядим. Там 2 минуты еще целых. И, скорее всего, в All Streams должно что-то появиться. Но ничего не появляется. Странная херня. Так, надолго залипаешься, я просто в качалку ухожу, успею вернуться или как? Я ж откуда знаю? Без понятия, успеешь ты вернуться или нет. Так, я же с тобой не слежу, куда ты в качалку ходишь. Так, так, а что я хотел? Здравствуйте, Людмила. Сейчас, секунду. Так, короче, на телефонах вверх свапаете, а на этих, как оно, господи, на компьютерах нажимаете показать запись. Так что там включайте птицу, сколько на 48 человек, так что залетайте вниз. Так, короче, на телефонах вверх свапаете, а на этих, как оно, господи, на компьютерах нажимаете показать запись. Так что там включайте птицу, сколько на 48 человек. Так, как тут смотрите? Так, короче, на телефонах... Да, подожди ты, господи. На компьютерах нажимаете показать запись, так что там включайте птицу. Так, короче, на телефонах вверх свапаете, а на этих, как на компьютерах нажимаете показать запись, так что там включайте птицу. Где свап? Кнопочка, господи. Вверх свапаете, а на этих, как на компьютерах нажимаете показать запись, так что там включайте. Так. Ну шо, а чё, будет это чё? О! О! Пошла жара! Пошла жара, блядь! Аж мурашки по коже. О, прям по жесткому прям. О! Да, жарень. Как будто Евровидение начинается, ей-богу. Ну вообще. Нави заберут мажора, ага, да. И тут ты проснулся, и тут ты обосрался, да? Katowice.
Welcome to the Acer Predator pre-show.
Предатор.
From Dota 2 to Fortnite, it's week 2 of IEM Katowice, and it starts right now. But above all else, we've got Counter-Strike. It's the new Legends stage. We get our top 16 teams on our road to the Spodek Arena next week.
It's exciting times. The big boys have arrived, and it's time to put a test to our last week's teams who have made it through. How can they fare against some of the world's best at this point?
And absolutely the case. I mean, the fact of the matter is this one's a bit different because we're not doing this mid-season. We're doing it at the start of a season. Some teams have played tournaments to warm up. Power Cup comes to mind. London last week in the case of Navi and Avangar. You have to consider sort of if there's been enough preparation. You'd think the boot camp and that sort of, you know, timings and teamwork and communications on, but just getting in for these newer teams to this format. Are some of the teams from last week going to have an advantage? That was a talking point among them.
We had a lot of upsets last week. I feel like we're going to have some here today as well. There's lots of teams playing. I guess we can have a look at who is going to be coming in this week. Got the likes of Astralis, Big, Complexity, FaZe Clan, Hellraisers, MIBR, Navi, and Team Liquid bringing it the rear. So who jumped off the page sheet right now? Who's the most excited? Obviously, Astralis number one team right now.
Sure.
And then you got the teams from last week who made it from the previous stage.
And rated by their peers. They were rated number one by one team. Liquid as first place overall.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Complexity. Well, so you throw out the most disparaging rating. So if someone just trolled and put someone 16th, it would drop that out. Interestingly, in the case of Astralis, being rated second was the one that was dropped out. So they got a perfect 1.0 rating coming into this. A Liquid takes over number 2. For me, the ones that jump out are teams like Complexity, who made it through last time. It was a wonderful story to see them do so at London. It was great to see a team like Complexity, an organization like Complexity with such a
was it the 3-0 they got last time?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they're the first team through.
That's right.
I think.
But just in general, for a team like Complexity, an organization, for them to have such a run in Counter-Strike again was great to see. However, coming into this one, I think they're rated 16th by their peers.
Remember, they do have nothing coming in. Technically, not a pro at this point. He's been a mercenary for a couple of teams. He was helping out Mousesports last year. This time, helping out Complexity. I don't think it'll be a full-time move. But here's the Swiss format, Matthew. So essentially, you can see on the right-hand side. I usually refer to it as like a life system. You're looking to get 3 wins to advance to the next stage. The final win has to be a best of 3. So any elimination or progression games are best of 3s. Everything else is best of 1. If you lose a game, then you go 0-1. You'll play against another team that's also good 0-1. And like you said, the seeding there. Astralis, of course, at the very top. We've got some great games coming up. So what have we got on this stream here? We've got Ents, Renegades, and then we're going to have Big Vitality. I believe we have that game.
Okay, so the standings are not actually the seeding.
I was going to say, it's Astralis at the very top, so we've got a bit of, I think it's alphabetical order.
Yeah, I think so, because Complexity is not rated number 3. No. That's Navi that actually got that rating at like 3.5 or something like that, so there was a bit of disparity among where people put them, and I think that's fair. One of the other ones for me, though, carrying over, if you were to look at teams to advance from last week, maybe Ents, I give Avangar a wildcard shot. Now, the problem with Avangar is they got rated 14th, or maybe even, 15th. So they play Liquid to start. That's a tough opening game for them.
So number 1 will play number 16.
Подождите, получается...
So basically the seeding system
gives you КСГО B.
Less chance for upset, but it...
А Hello TV Live до сих пор нету ничего. Походу будет тогда, когда только включится. Я понял. Ага. Мне это не надо.
Do you see that being a talking point at all? Or would you rather just be the fairest
competition?
I mean, it's the fairest competition in that regard, but also you have best of 3s, which really neutralizes any chance for those massive upsets. You know, you can't have the one-and-done teams anymore. They have depth over a map pool.
На ГГ такие рекомендации, что ж...
I think that's the biggest change for me, more so than just the seeding.
Sure.
But it's nice to see that we're not going to have, you know, 2 heavy hitters at the top play each other and then have a team sneak through because of their demise, right? So it does even it out. And last week, looking at it, when you looked across the board at all the matches, nothing jumped off the page to me as, wow, that's really one-sided, which is what you want.
Absolutely. And as each stage goes on, this back to the major as well gets reseeded after the first round, right? So going to round number 2,
как взлетит, так и взлетит, да? Люда на это надеется. Может, подписаться на Людин канал, там, поставить лайк под стримчик, там, да, тоже можно.
Yeah, and the reason that I point out the fact of the matter of the rating for Avangar is because let's say Liquid is cold. They seem very confident yesterday talking to them. But let's say Liquid is cold and Avangar just comes out flying out of the gate and gets that best of 1 win over them. Great for them. They get moved up the order, but it's going to be hard for Liquid then. They'll still go down, I think, Можно одушно.
Люд, 29 валиков-то есть.
It's a possibility that, you know, one of those upsets can happen today. In the pick'ems, they've actually got them in order of how the ratings came through, in my opinion. I think this is how it was. So you've got Astralis, Liquid, Na'Vi, MIBR, FaZe, NRG, Big, and Renegades, Vitality, NIP. I'm just going to read them all off because I'm already doing it now. Hellraisers, Cloud9, G2, Avangard, Complexity. I'm pretty sure that's exactly where they were rated.
Мне кажется, какие-нибудь ликвиды возьмут его.
You're absolutely right. The way we've got it on here, that's the way to do it. You think Avangard might be able to sneak in as your wild card?
Yeah, I'm not going to...
Когда там игра начнется уже? Я хочу Виталиков посмотреть. 59 минут осталось.
Get a few wins, and hey, maybe they can, but they'll be a pest to everyone they play.
They could just be one of that team that takes away a victory from someone you might expect, not necessarily make it through. Either way, we got our first game coming up right after this break. Do not go anywhere. The major stage 2 is about to kick off.
Ну, опять как Евровидение, блядь. Ой, все что? Major Champion Against... О! А я бы сейчас был бы там бы. Да, я бы сейчас тоже там был бы. А следующий мажор, кстати, в Германии. И будут проводить его Старвадер.
Think he can't clutch through a smoke while recording in full resolution and streaming the play to the world? Watch this. Think he can't get famous in a flash? Like become your own meme famous? Watch this. Think he's been there, done that? With Intel Core i7, he's just getting started. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Реклама на рекламе, реклама на рекламе. А что там доту показали зачем-то? Ну вообще прям. Водофон. И еще. Жестко. Здорово. О, еще i7. О, еще энергетики. Неплохо. Когда новую беседу создашь, не знаю. А у меня G-скилл. У меня тоже прикольная. Знаете, меня удивляют люди, которые пишут чекни видос ВКонтакте. Здорово, Степ. Че это Польша так некрасивые места какие-то показывают? Что за некрасивые места? Маяк какой-то. На этой арене, походу, играет, судя по всему. Ну, что-то как-то не особо красиво, я бы сказал, чисто обычные дома. Но я бы в этом доме бы жил бы. Вот как вот здесь, вот этот вот там, вот здесь где-нибудь, вот здесь бы поселился бы, жил бы здесь. Нормально, что тут дойти до этого, до арены. Ну так-то вроде обычный городок. Ну типа, вон заводы, вон еще заводы, вон еще заводы. Как раз мое место работы. Казахстан. Ну так-то вроде ничего так. Ну, типа, зима а-ля. Было бы лето, было бы красивее, естественно. Казахстан. 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 Вот так надо писать, здорово, спором. Катовице. Я отминал волны. Короче, что-то на китайском написано. Ксантарес разъебет, я надеюсь. Хотя я ставил на Виталиков вроде как. А я и на бегов ставил. А нет, на бегов я не ставил, алло. Я на бегов 0-3 поставил. И вроде как. Кыргызстан. Кыргызстан. М5 какой-то. Что это такое еще? Ага, работка моя. Ебать, прямо около завода живут, охуеть, блин. Тут дымит, они живут прямо в поле. Серьезно? Зато до работы недалеко. Вышел он на работе. Не так-то вроде ничего так. Здорово, Вова. Не смешно шутить про завод? Ха-ха-ха. Ага. Я как завтра еду на работу устраиваться.
Intel Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Medway, and Pay Safeguard.
Pay Safeguard. Нормально. Большой магазин и печалишь игры.
Vodafone presents the pre-match.
An absolutely lovely shot of the Spodek. The question on everyone's mind this week is it a UFO or a sombrero?
A bit of both, I think. A bit of magic in the air as well. The Majors here.
Vodafone, что за компания? Не помню, что-то тоже там связано с
Majors here before, but not an Intel Extreme Masters Major.
Exactly that. We've had ESL 1 and EMS 1.
Exactly.
Yes. I had to think back as to what it was called back then.
Yeah.
Not number 2. They're both number 1.
Indeed.
Like Valve, we don't count up. This is going to be an interesting game. We're going to get things started shortly. We already talked a little bit. I mentioned Avangard is kind of a dark horse. Ents, Renegades certainly could be. And they play off against each other today.
They do.
But why don't you kind of cue us into where we're going today?
On this stream, we're going into Big versus Vitality, which for me is a very interesting game. Big, a team everyone seems to be getting very excited about once again. They've made some changes, removed their British sniper in the form of Smuya, and brought in an absolute powerhouse of talent, the Turkish-based player Zantares, who you've mentioned last time a few times, that he was the #1 ranked player on HLTV for the longest time, but obviously you have to take that with a slight caveat that he was playing lower tier opposition, but still, his mechanical skill is one of the very best in CSGO right now. Will it be enough to get Big up to elite status? I think so. I feel like with the tactics and the firepower they have now, this could be a very interesting package.
I think absolutely so. And it's interesting that they also, so I was was talking to Jason, who had the pleasure, he and I
interviewed
for the Legends teams yesterday, which they'll play throughout the production. A lot of people were asking on Twitter when they'd see those. Those will be throughout the B-roll and throughout the event. He was saying, I assumed, and apparently incorrectly, that Gobby, being Turkish, having a Turkish background, went out and recruited Xantares and thought, hey, I can make something of this guy. You know, experienced in-game leader. We know how methodical he is toward the game. Speaks Turkish. Makes sense. Apparently, that's not the case. Tabson was the guy who wanted him. Tabson said, go get him. Wow. And that's what happened. So Gobby can communicate with him. That's brilliant. It's probably the best signing Xantares could have. It also means he's going to learn English through Gobby and through playing with them. So in the future, he'll be more of a prospect for other teams, because that was always the issue with him, is he wasn't that well spoken in English. So they will have some communication issues, but Gobby can speak both and should resolve it.
Well, they've had to overcome communication issues when they brought Smooya in initially. They were a German-based team speaking German, then all of a sudden having to speak English. They seemed to be fine with it. There wasn't seem to be like a massive talking point around that. It wasn't like the MIBR USA situation. It was it seemed a little bit more synergized in that whole thing. I think Xantares is going to take him time to be his absolute best in this team, but his individual talent is fantastic, and hopefully that will be enough to just put a bit of a show on today. The first game of this stage of the major. We want to see him go off. And are we allowed to talk about the map yet, Matthew? I'm not sure if we got the veto coming up. I don't want to jump in and say this is the map, ruin the surprise for everyone.
Apparently it's coming up right now.
Okay, so we can look at it properly.
We've kind of been cheated because we jumped into the server, so we can see it. Remember, today is all best of ones, because these are not either decider or advancement games. These are placement games. This is the start of the system. It's much like last week. If you were around to join us last week at the start, it's the exact same format again this week.
It is exactly the same. It's going to be a mirror, but obviously we've got 16 teams now from last week, the 8 that made it through, and then the 8 previous legends from last major.
It's worth noting as well, we know how difficult the minors are right now. Optic failed to make it. North failed to make it. Mouse Sports failed to make it. The European minor especially is stacked. You can avoid that process this week by winning one series. So if you win a best of one today, if you go 1-0 today, all those teams are guaranteed that they will not have to play in a minor again. It's only the 2-0-3 teams that have to go back into that.
Which is a nice change, I think.
Yes.
There's a lot of pressure on it, kind of, if anyone did get sneaked through last time and they get battered this time, it means that they weren't ready.
It's kind of like that was put in place because of the Swiss system upsets, I think, and teams that were sneaking in. Now you've got the best of threes and you have that. So if you go 0-3 this week after sneaking in last week, which was already difficult, it's going to be resolved. Like, you're going to have to go back to the minors still. So, but it is worth noting for teams like Complexity, who are, legends, a lot of people thinking they're going to suffer, obviously rated by their peers in the 16th position this week. If they just win one best of one, I mean, that's, again, Vitality, team that wants to build. G2, team that's been having problems. Cloud9, team that's been rebuilding. Even NIP, who's gone through so many struggles in minors in the past. Just win one today, and you could be all right.
I think that's absolutely true. I don't think either of these teams will be looking at that first. These are two teams that definitely want to make it through to the next stage and get to the round of 8. Vitality, bit of a weird team on paper. If you didn't follow CSGO that closely for the last year, you think this lineup looks amazing. I heard a lot about his Zywoo kid. You got some legends there as well. Yes and no. We've seen some promising signs of life for them this week, or last week, I should say. And we thought, okay, they're getting better. But overall, this project so far, Vitality, has been disappointing. It started initially with Happy. Instead of Alex coming in, we thought that looked a little bit long in the tooth, perhaps. And then they removed Happy, brought Alex in, and it's been slow. It hasn't been an amazing start for them. They've just about got through to this section of the tournament, and they're hoping their star player Zywoo, who is up there with Xantares in terms of individual skill, can deliver. He seems to be the main catalyst of this team for them to really go off. If he has a quiet day, they're not going to do well. Luckily, MBK and Apex have both looked astonishing recently, and MBK is the in-game leader and seems like he's really found some individual form as well.
Yeah, we get the narrative of building up Xantares because he's been around for a while, but playing in that tier 2 scene. You're right to say that Zywoo is like an equal talent, if you will.
Yeah.
But we don't have that backstory because he kind of arrived and bursted straight into the tier 1 scene. He doesn't have as much maps in his history that we can look at and much stats that we can pull. But yeah, those are 2-star players that'll be going head-to-head. And I personally, I can't wait. I think that's going to be a fantastic battle. Difference that there will be for Big, obviously, is without Smooya, Xantares isn't really an opper.
No, but Tabson is.
That's what I was going to say. You're going to see Tabson, who was phenomenal on the rifle last year, jump over to that weapon. It's going to change the complexion of the team, but so much skill still there.
Yeah, Tabson is definitely confident in his AWP ability. I think he's such a good rifler. I'm sure he can handle the AWP responsibility, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine. But it's always a shame to see these really exciting riflers to switch weapon up. But at the same time, I'm sure they know what they're doing, and hopefully he can deliver a world-class performance. And he'll be up against ZywOo in that department. ZywOo is the main AWPer for Vitality, so it's going to be an interesting battle. Nonetheless, we have to look at the lesser skilled players that were. We got Next coming back in from injury. So we're not sure what to expect from him. He was phenomenal back in his heyday. Waiting to see whether the break he's had recently, some players actually find themselves when they go on the bench for a little bit and come back, they actually look a lot better individually. So we'll see if that rings true. He's been around for a long time, an absolute veteran of the game, played for Mouse Sports, now for Big, and now back off the bench, it seems, as they want to bring him back in once Smuya was removed as well. So there you go. Zantares and Next coming back into the roster. GodB, always been heralded as the tactical mastermind. We're always seeing nice innovations from him, and we will see them very early on in the tournament. It's yet to be seen, but I feel like this team, they want to be making sure they win every single map they can. They can't take any chances here, so we are going to see anything new. I'm sure we will see it today, and Vitality certainly had a few days to look at their notes as well, right? They didn't look their absolute best in the opening stage of the tournament, and they've had 2 or 3 days now to work on their mistakes, and we will be playing Mirage, and hopefully I just don't want anyone to get run over. That was like a bit of a problem the last day, especially last week, of teams just not turning up at all. We had like 16-1, 16-1s going back and forth. Is a little bit problematic in that respect. Teams not looking quite ready on their map picks. It was quite odd, and I'm just hoping to see this one go the distance. A nice 16-14 would be a great way to kick off the B stream today.
Be fantastic. I mean, this on paper should be a great game for all the reasons stated. ZywOo, Zantares, team building, methodical in-game leader on one side. French scene, I think this team the more tactical of the two currently, with NBK involved, and certainly, you know, a structured player like Apex and RPK, both those guys very fundamental. Still improving in that asset, I would say, though, and still trying to build out that teamwork so that they don't overcommit to force buys, etc. G2 was a little bit more guilty of that last week, but we certainly saw Vitality give up a few rounds that shouldn't have happened.
Well, in terms of predictions, Matthew, I guess it's our show. We're gonna have to do them. I've gone with Big on this one, just because to be fair, obviously haven't seen them play, haven't seen them practice. It's just a gut feeling. I feel like with the Zantares coming in, they're gonna be fired up, and Vitality, if they have that slow, flat start, they could get run over. Yeah,
it's a tough one. It really is for me. I think I lean toward Big.
Okay,
but I have this like a lot of people were saying Big could be a 3-0 team. And I get that, sure. They're very structured under GodB and Zantares. It's fine. But I still think there's going to be a few teams today that joining the Legends stage late are going to get caught off. And this could be one of those games. I think I still lean with Big, but it'll be close.
Well, we will find out, ladies and gentlemen. The first game of the day, at least on this side of the equation. You do have the A stream as well. It will be Big versus Team Vitality. It's a difficult one to call. You can see the rosters there as we head into Mirage. It will be a CT start for the German organization with Vitality on their T side, and that's a nice.
Oh.
We're good. All right.
It's a speech jammer test.
It was just an item. I did. I couldn't really process that at all. We have 3 smokes, though, for Big to process. It looks like we have the standard steps jungle smoke where we want towards spawn as well. As the flashes will be dropped over as ZywOo to lead in, as all 4 players for Vitality head towards the bomb site. Zantares to challenge with that P2000.
GodB still back towards CT. Good shot. Takes out ZywOo immediately as he crosses over. Bomb will be planted by MBK in the meantime, so GodB goes aggressive again from CT, but smoke down late. Post-plant smoke. They saved one for that. It's going to make things a little more difficult. Now the advantage to Big on the retake
гранатка хорошая там залетела. Еще один под коврами, один на Тетрисе. Один вообще сзади смотрит под Джима. Пиздец, РПК. Ой, дал, дал! Вторую! Не, не дал. Тут просто беги берут. Игра
плохая. Well, 3 players survive as well, so that's a convincing victory for the Germans. There will be GodB to open things up. You can see, I was expecting a smoke towards spawn. That really begs the question as to what was going on with that third smoke. I assume went towards Connector, as we'll see him retake the bomb site. It's going to be Tabson, one of the key fraggers of the squad. I like the fact they got so many raw, talented players on this
Даже
squad.
забегов не, я против
Tizian's
бегов.
normally the anchor. Just an player doesn't get much.
Я на них 0-3 поставил.
Pretty smart and skilled himself. He's not going for the big flashy plays. He's holding bomb sites and making sure he takes one down with him usually.
Ауги в ход пошли. Так эти закупились, Виталий.
So far, the org. He'll be joined by Next in that department, and a couple of SMGs as well. As Vitality, just to know, have force sport in the second round. Now, we haven't seen an awful lot of this. A lot of T sides waiting for the third round to get a really decent buy, maybe even with an AWP, with the bomb going down to pistol, but they've gone for Galils and UMPs here. So you can see them in a very slow default. They don't want to give up the fact they've actually bought into this one, so you won't hear many rifle shots fired. Headshot apparently. And there it is.
О, -1 уже. Правда, за его красный остался. Это что за смог такой? Прям на точку кидает. Это куда смог полетит, интересно? О, смотрите, даже показывается, куда летит. Ля, на карте показывает. В окно прям, ля. И на шорты в окно. 4 в 4. Там Гоби видел, правда, что уже вышли. Ой, ну куда ты смотришь-то на нее? О! Ну за его красный еще минус дал, если что. Ой-ой-ой-ой, хорошо! А там за его бил Гоби опять в голову! Ну-ка. Могут. Ай. Ну инфа есть, теперь 20 секунд осталось.
You can see the bomb plant, but picked up for Alex. He's got head armor as well. You may give him the advantage on this. If he can get the bomb down and actually get some distance between he and Tizian, or just take the fight. Oh my goodness. Might have got away with one.
Maybe you thought the situation there was expecting a CT flank, but Tizian plays it to perfection there. 2 versus 1 after 3 Zywoo 1-digs come through. Daunting prospect, especially when you got the MP9, but he manages to segregate the 2 Ts and catch them before they can plant as well. They look like they're going absolutely crazy over there. Apex needs to chill out. But it will be a Vitality round going against him, and frustrated.
Виталики летят.
Rightly so, to be fair. Летят, Виталики. 2 versus 1. Didn't even get a plant out of it. It can be. Oh, they're force buying again.
Что я делаю?
Okay, I'll chill out. It was just a partial buy, I guess. A couple of them, MBK's gone for it. So this is Vitality. Some classic French CS here.
О, какая хорошая фоточка. А, они опять закупались с пистолетами. Ну там, наверное, 2 кб сделали, скорее всего. Пистолеты, кто-то второй броню купил, первый. Что не делают? О, Тапс не видит никто. О, РПК. Ой, троих! Троих, ля! Что делают, блядь? 2-2.
They're not even waiting for them to play. I guess they thought that round was just tied up completely, and they didn't expect RPK to go off like that. They were very aggressive.
It's scary, though, for Big. The fact they've given up 2 rounds now with a ton of kills. No bomb plant in the last. I still think Alex should have had the bomb plant. Had the AUG, would have got more money as well for doing so. Obviously, he was trying to win it, so you can't really fault him for that.
Ваншотик, давай, братик.
Retrospectively, it would have helped a lot. If they can get a bomb plant down now this time, too, with the kills that they've had, the reinvestment that they're going to force out of Big, this is a fantastic recovery from Vitality.
They still have a couple of smokes as well, and a flashbang. But unfortunately, Zywoo goes down, leaving the tank with just 7 HP. Doesn't look like he'll be winning this one.
Какой-то жесткий, конечно.
They got enough to force. They could go. Yeah, you know what? They got the rifles, so it's just MBK.
Что, блядь, холодно?
Hamstrung. Zywoo can even afford the AWP, so it's actually not looking too bad with the investments in the previous round. Ideally, could have got the bomb down and have a full array of rifles. MBK might just go with the pistol here, but still, they keep Big on a leash here. So damage being done at least as the buys come through. There are CZ in the hand for MBK, and as next to finish things off, they get the 3-0.
Ну чё, full stack, 3-0
still they have the open in the hands of Tabson. He's got 8 kills so far. Looking to see what he can bring to this major with the sniper.
Сейчас минус будет СЛП. Раз.
It's in late. They threw it from the top side of middle instead. I thought they were going to round the corner. It blinded up as it appeared the model was. I thought they were going all the way around, and that would have cost them out dearly. Zywoo's the deepest in mid right now. He's got a player working out from underpass. In fact, 2, MBK and Alex, but he's got the bomb. So he's got to be a little bit careful of his position.
Дима, кто о чем?
Next won't be able to spot him as he gets that far down the ramp. It's more the window, which is now smokeless, though. Actually, another one there now, and connector that they have to worry about. Zantaras was hoping to get vision. In fact, gonna just spray, hoping that'll catch the underpass players, but can't do so. Next, so much smoke in mid. He's not gonna have this information. Knows they're close, though, based on sound spots. That's all he had to do at this point in time, and he'll fall back. Concedes catwalk, concedes the window as well, though. So a lot of map control for Vitality to try and take.
Well, they pretty much have to go B at this point. 4 players towards short. There's the flashbang. CT's waiting on the side. You can see Tizzy.
Мари проходит вчетвером шорт. Ай-яй-яй. Ну нет, тут хана им. Тут еще на челик. О, нет. Что-то чересчур. Ой, РПК, полегче. Ой, еще НБК дал минус. Вот зря они так полезли, типа дали 3 минуса и полезли зачем-то дальше. Нахрена? Один шот тебе, скорее всего. А нет, в апсах.
And gone down 3 times.
NBK, ну зачем?
9-2 now with the AWP. RPK, he pulled it back. I have to give credit to Nex. He got information when there was no one else able to spot inside of middle, fell back, stayed efficient, and found 2 kills inside of the site. It's quite spectacular, but it's all on the tank to pull it together for Vitality. Flash out, it worked. Caught off Godby, took him down, but got a dink through the wall in the process, and he's got to find the off-wall. He spotted it. He had dead to right.
Серьезно? РПК, ты чё, блядь?
Vitality can't catch a break. Bid go 4-0 again. So tantalizingly close, and it all falls apart. It was big to get the opening picks. It looked like another successful round, but then once more, RPK finds killed out of nothing. He makes it to 1 versus 1. Like you said, this looked like a done deal. He should have killed him, to be fair. Fantastic shot from Tabson, but RPK could have just one-tapped that straight to the dome, went for a little spray, and that cost him his life. And they're going to be able to buy again. They've got maximum loss bonus with this bomb going down. If they just win one of these rounds, they'll break the economy big. But so far, can't find it. It'll be Zantares looking to get off the mark here. 0-4, really had a rough start, but very early on in this best of 1. But Big do have the lead. But remember, as soon as they lose the 1 round and no one survives, they're double eco for sure. So we'll see what happens here. Zai, we're waiting for aggression towards short. Tapson has got his AWP from the previous round, but you can see they're certainly struggling financially with just 3 flashbangs at an HE at the 1:20 mark. They've got next to no utility, and it seems like Vitality are aware of it.
And RPK is having a good start as well. Down 0-4.
Что, на какой-то старается играть? Куда они тыкают перед игрой прям.
Had all day to line it up with the gun barrel sticking through, but smokes to mid again. Apex down below. Maximum loss bonus. And a bomb plant, so recovery now or never.
Там Ксантарес постоянно в окне сидит, он вообще туда не уходит. То есть они стоят, вообще смотрите, как они стоят. У них один в апсах на поджиме, один КТ, один между стоит, один в огне. Все. Убили, правда, Некса на шорте, скорее всего. Да, на шорте, а не падали убили. Типа выход на, скорее всего, будет. Судя по всему. За его минус Тапсон, сейчас между надо идти. Они знают, что идет еще один. За его должен прочекивать, да. Но он не убил. Но это их раунд. Хрен там был, там Ксантарес разваливает. Пиздец ему Апекс. Немножечко не туда.
He had to be careful. Apex as well, even on 56. He could be sprayed by an AUG at that point in time. He's got the
так, ну еще один. У одного Алекса 1 хп осталось.
He has no kit, no grenades, and 2 players at different angles completely. I'm not sure how he'd even approach his situation, as he'll have to touch the bomb, hope he can bait someone out, but then where does he even look? At this point, is he going to struggle to even defuse the bomb without a kit? I feel like he's just trying to make some noise now and trying to ruffle some feathers. It might be better off saving the AWP at this stage or get the
AWP будет забирать и сейвить. А там Алекс 1 хп! Не дали упущику.
Vitality get a round on the board there, a sigh of relief, and they take everyone down with them. We did say that's a huge round if Vitality could win it. The fact that the previous rounds have been so close, it should force Big into the very least a force buy situation or a full eco. Zantares gets his first couple of kills.
Так, Zantares даже без прицела разъебывает. Он даже не открывает его. Апекс, ой, Апекс любитель грызть ногти. Это нормально.
With the same weapon in hands, and can't really discount Big on these sort of rounds. In fact, they have Zantares and Tabson, both very deadly with the pistols. We'll see if they can cause a dent here, but it's going to be a struggle next. Rattling off shots towards middle. Nothing connecting just yet.
4-1, а денег-то нету. 4 раунда подряд взяли, а денег-то нету, понимаете, в чем там прикол? Они с пистолетами и с арморами. Ну, правда, 2 вторых и 3 первых. И пистолеты, больше ни хера нету. О, сейчас если Тизен сыграет, а он все слышит, ёпта. А он все слышит, сейчас будет перетяжка. А, полностью. Да, все, перетяг на пошел. Пистолет могут сыграть спокойно. Очень спокойно. Вот! Раз! И в чей второго накалил. 50 хп. Тут сейчас проиграют виталити. Если сейчас... Оп. Если сейчас пару хитшотов залетит или с дигла, или с этого с F7, это ГГ будет. Но раскида, конечно, много. Оп, видел. А нет, смотри-ка, нормально зашло. А Тизен-то с Галилом. И Тизен сзади, но по мало хп уже, правда. So this comes to kills. Good read on the flash. Molotov's going to be a problem. That's got to spread. Surely it has to spread. But Молик так рядом был, слушайте, он даже не нажал. Ой, нет, не встал на него.
A little bit scary for Vitality there, but they win the round. That's the most important thing because it sends Big to win eco at this stage. Tizian's flank could have been everything. Managed to get himself a Galil as well. Denied the plant, but at that point, taken down to too low of an HP. I think if he struck maybe 5 seconds before, he would have had a chance to win the round, but he was detected by Alex.
У нас потом следующая игра Навига 2.
So there we go. Big will have to just take this one on the chin. They can get a little bit of investment of some upgraded pistols, a couple of PD-50s out of Deagle as well. But Vitality online now, at least. This is certainly a CT-sided affair. And the fact they'll get 3 rounds in a row now will make things a little bit more comfortable as the loss bonus starts to rack up. The CTs will get $2,400.
А, там опять сека. Они фулл закуп делали, Апекс минус.
Anything but healthy. Zontara is going to be dead at this point as the Molotovs come through. It looks like they're just going to be focusing their efforts towards the A side. And this time using a lot more grenades just to flush out any CZs or PD-50s that could be close.
Два коннектора уже резают, они фулла выходят вообще. У них даже на меду закрывающего нет, они просто заходят на эти пистолеты и нормально все. Изи. Изи раундик, уже 4-3. Вот сейчас надо вот этот важный раунд. Берут этот раунд, значит берут 5-й раунд, по идее. Если они его, конечно, не просрут.
That's showcased by how quickly Big was broken down on their own money, so 7 rounds done, split the difference.
Да, full бай точнее. И денег вообще 0, по нулю. Короче, надо брать Виталиком еще раунд, и это будет 5-й их не точно, потому что там денег вообще не будет. Еще радар лагает дико.
Not everyone was against it as much as some of the tweets in the community have been, let's just say.
It's more of a
минус Тизиан, РПК еще 70 хп тоже осталось. Пустак аугов. Ауги, это заебись.
And I get that it absolutely should be removed.
Сейчас смог пройдет, тогда выйдет Апекс.
And everyone's doing it. That's it's one of those things. You can sit there and have all the morality you want and say, "Oh, it's not part of the game to me." Well, you kind of
Апекс 2 хп и за его закрыл. Ох. Но у них хедфа есть, то что двое на шарте стоят, значит 1А стоит. Надо заходить, а сейчас перетяг будет быстро. Инбекей тут. Инбекей должен читать. Хорош. Видел. Жестко. Жестко. И сейчас Инбекей третьего закроет. А, не закрыл. Ну а тот 4-й сейчас или сейвить просто идти, потому что там и броня есть, а лук еще и флешка с гранатой. Ой, флешка с дымом.
Absolutely, they do. Ooh, that's not exactly the best Molotov. It does clear out the corners so that
the guy
who knows is going to be on the left. So easy done at this
сейчас
point in time.
Остажай!
He was moving around a little bit.
Yeah,
it's one of those PUBG moments.
О, орёт там.
Just have to move a little bit, frustrating.
Apex looks fired.
А эти-то за стенкой сидят.
Very upset in the first couple of rounds, and now he looks like he's super ready for this stage of the meta. Like you said, the first game was actually a really big deal. If you can get a 1-0 going in, not only do you avoid the minor going forward, it also means that you might be able to make it to the next stage, a round of 8.
Да, Динарик, как бы, что там не добавляли, номер телефона можно брать с любого аккаунта.
It's been a slow start. I don't think there was a lot of expectation coming in for them. Certainly within the team itself there was, but when the community saw it, they kind of went like, "Oh, that's just the French B team, right?"
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're proving now that they are number 1 in France. Day and G2 both in this stage can kind of argue for that again this tournament, perhaps. But yeah, it's been a slow start, I think, is a better way of putting it. They just haven't been at very many events yet to prove themselves time and time again. They've certainly got the momentum on their side now. Keep in mind, because this is a reset of the event, if you will. You can put it. I would like to see, and I'm hoping someone's going to track it this way, and I'm sure maybe HLTV even has a filter for this. We tracked last week, and Cash was the only map that was T-sided. The rest were all CT-sided based on the percentages.
Yeah.
The overall event is one thing, but I'd like to track this week alone. So if someone wants to keep track of that, this week alone on percentage of sides, because now I think we're going to get a lot more of the tactical teams.
It'll be good to kind of get a gauge as to where the game is heading towards, I think. Yeah, I think that's a decent idea to see whether the top teams can fend off the Orgs with more ease and work out a way to counter them more effectively. But it is a tactical timeout called for big, just to note. Looks like the boys over at Vitality having a chat as well, working out what their move is for the next round. They know if a pause is coming through, it either means some sort of adaptions coming in, or they are discussing their financial situation. I think it's more the latter here for big, as you can see. Well, as I can see, I should say, they've got about $3,000 per player as they reach 4th stage loss bonus. They're going to have to take a partial buy here. There's no real decision to be made. Partial buy has to happen. Then it's just what you do with it. A lot of teams are stacking B these days to see if B rush comes in. Bit of a Hail Mary call, or you can obviously stack A. Maybe get a scout into the mix with some pistols. We'll see which way they're inclined. Is big head into round number 9 here. Just a 5-7 purchase so far. There are some PD50s. They haven't invested much. That might mean they're planning a double orb setup potentially.
Там денег нет, то они до 2К сделали, правда, там у Губи нет денег ни хрена.
An anchor player in the Voluntezian to pick it up. That's if they want to go for it, but just speculating at this point. Got B with the Kevlar. Smoke, he certainly won't be getting it. And 4 players stacked on the A sides and pushing the A ramp as well. No terrorist presence there at all. So
там поджим идет уже. Там 2 чека уже поджимают, а там челик сейчас их закрывать должен с палосов. А он их не видит, блядь.
He is indeed. He might be caught off by Gobby. I was going to say gifted a kill, but
он просто, они просто оба сели под эту херню и пролезли. Тапсон за его убил, 3-4.
Is going to take things back into his own hands.
Надо Б идти быстро проходить.
At least, because the AKs have to get to B while it's vacant. Otherwise, they've got problems. With Gobby already picking up a gun, knowing that there's one further down inside.
Хорош, 3-3. Ай-яй-яй, ай-яй-яй, хороший пикей. Патронов нету. 2-3, там калаш, там, наверное, Некс будет сейвить калаш, скорее всего. А, нет, или не будет сейвить. Не, походу идет. Ну ты шо?
He actually got toward that AK-47. Apex gave that up, and he's gone down as a result. Now they absolutely will go for it as Gobby gets caught out by Nex, but it leaves them in the open. Nex, he'll follow it up, and they'll get the rounds.
RPK did what he could, but that
Я так и думал. Все тайминги просто, реально все тайминги словил, блядь. Все. Пиздец, минус 3 дал. Один калаш, один калаш, который выбили, все, он сыграл. Это единственный калаш.
This is how it all kicked off, though, and they funneled towards the B side. That was such a great shot from Tabson, but it looked like RPK pulled it back. Remember, they've got no armor as well, so he's just chewing through opposition. But that was a turning point like that, right?
Yeah, I'm so surprised Apex wasn't at least considering that, because it was the only other place that a gun was down at that point in time. And sure, okay, if they both come in the site, you want to be there to trade it, but in theory, until you see that AK,
фига хайперикс клавиатуру с белыми шашками. Прикольно.
I'm a bit surprised by that.
Well, it is the victory for Big as they take the lead. 5-4. Gold back out for Tabson. 12 kills to his name so far as Vitality start the probe towards the B side of the map. Just MBK in the palace right now, showing a bit of presence towards A. I assume that's just him throwing a smoke and a flash to show someone's there. And he'll fall back and hold middle for his teammates if they commit towards the B side, that is. All still up in the air at this point. Zywo waits with the AWP.
Там денег-то нету, по идее. 200-300. Но у двоих есть закуп. Но им надо бегом надо брать два подряд. Одного мало будет.
Zywo wants to creep in slowly.
Там болгарка у кого-то режет у них там, блядь. Ой, бля, ой, куда вы, блядь, прыгаете, ёбаный в рот. Понятно.
I needed to see that from Nex's POV. It sounded very good from him, but also no pressure at all. You could see he gets those first 2 kills, whether he was blind or smoked out, I'm not sure. It seemed like a slow contact play from Vitality.
Смотрите, какая кама у него.
Who then drops the incendiary. They spray them all down. There's not a single kill for Vitality. So they lose to his pistol, no armor in the previous round, and then a very flat B approach.
Бля, я так не играю. Я другими пальцами играю.
And they are going to buy, I can confirm. I've seen an all purchased as they get to the end of their finances here. They're not going to have a perfect situation at all. It's not too bad. They've got 2 AKs so far, the AWP, as they work out which weapons Apex and MBK will hold. It's going to be a CZ and a Deagle. So, not the best situation. They'll take a timeout now to discuss their options. You're better off with set pieces in these sort of rounds because you want the pistols to go in first and at least get very good comms to where the rifles can then focus their crosshairs. So we are seeing initial smokes being deployed towards middle and 4 players heading towards this A side of the map. The set piece looks likely. Will it be effective though?
Apex sits back for the deep smoke.
А денег... они закуп сделали там за его ВПшечка. Я бы на месте МБК бы сейчас в смог не заходил бы. Хотя нет, сейчас бы хороший был бы тайминг.
Communicate with Tabson. This is where we'll start to see how much communication within the team there is, because both were looking Palace for a moment. They need to consider that it is now open behind the connector. Dobby pushes up. Flat wall. Yeah, if that had been a foot further, he would have peeked that, no question. And they're anticipating with that flash being where it was.
Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй, что делается, блядь? Да еще! Хороший пикей! Хорош! Так, и от Некса главное забрать этого, вот этого бездаря вот этого. Хорош. Хорош! Жестко.
Flashbang defined the entire round there. If Goppy doesn't get flashed by that and he manages to swing off it, he probably gets 2 kills. It was really well timed. Unfortunately for him, as soon as he did get blind, they knew exactly where he was on the other side of that corner. And Zywo and Apex started to go to town as very clumsy from the CTs on the retake there.
Так, денег на ВП хватило. Но там денег нет, надо этот брать. Как и Бегам в том раунде надо было брать 2 подряд.
Always seem to claw back into these rounds. We go 6-5. They have the advantage here as the CTs go aggressive. We yet to see the most out of Zantares. 3 kills to his name, but he could get one here.
Хорош, Алекс. Ай, разменяли. Но 4 в 4 тоже лучше, чем ничего. А там Гоби рядом.
MBK around the corner, already checking it. Flash this time. Do they anticipate twice?
Надо Гоби закрыть. Он опять 2-й раз здесь стоит. Он 2-й раунд или 3-й подряд здесь стоит. Ну что ты не смотришь-то, ну ёб твою мать. Хорош. 3 в 3.
CT, mind you, but he is anticipating that Tabson could put himself up on the ticket booth. Either way, he'll hold the angle, trying to get his teammates in farther, but no one spotting toward the top of the stairs, and his head still showing.
Печалька.
Easy shot, I have to say.
Ух, Апекс хорош. А там ВПшечка стоит на КТ. Ой-ой-ой-ой, там столько, 3 хп, 13! 13 хп у челика осталось. Ой, хороший пикей. Жестко забили просто ВПшку эту.
Well, he spotted one player towards spawn, so he separated them in that sense. You know, there's a planter and a CT player. Apex, though, on the ticket booth. He scoped in, but it doesn't seem to stop him at all. Nice shot from him. It was a bit of a gamble to jump over and get the ult, but he successfully does it. Closes out the round. RPK finding kills once again. Got B, like he said, same position. Got baited in by teammates again, and then they followed up the incendiary to allow him to try and retreat. But Zywo is so quick on that.
Нет, Некс зря полез. Некс бы не полез бы, тогда бы раунд взяли бы изички вообще.
And then close out the round. It is going to be 6-6, and money should be broken for the big squad. They have got 6K on.
Ну, сейчас еще раунд должны брать, 7-й, по идее. Если 9-6 сделают, это вообще за Т очень даже замечательно.
Next will get to Deagle armor and a flashbang. The rest of them, as you can see, 5.7s and PT50s. Should be a vitality round, but they've given up to these pistols before. 4 AKs, AWP. And there's still an important one for vitality. Can't afford to lose this round again. There would be reset. Continue here, you can see not too much of a stack from either side really. Big will just be playing 3 towards the A side of the map.
Камера вообще отлично работает.
That's going to be Apex opening things up. Sontaras 3 and 11. I haven't seen those numbers
Там еще Тизина подловили на
from him
обставку.
before. He's usually at the very top, looking very comfortable. But I would say this will be a T side of affair for him. That's where he can do most of his damage, let off the leash a little bit. They've had a rough start.
Ну, пистолеты, блин, конечно, такое, но типа даже с пистолетами можно брать спокойно раунды.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been back and forth, right? 2 rounds ago, we saw a round in hand for Big, and then Vitality answered that call just as they did having lost the pistol. They may have gone down 4-0, but rounds 2 and 3, they got 4 and 3 kills respectively, leaving just SMGs in the second one. They forced a lot of money, and it's
Next
really
даже
been a game
11
of
хп
momentum at this
голову
point in time,
повесит кому-нибудь.
neither really wanting to give up much. In fact, not wanting to give up pistols this time. It seems Big's going to back off, try and save it. They do have a lurk outside of the vent position. That is Apex. He's got a kill for his troubles.
Ой. Ай-яй-яй, какие тайминги.
Pistol obviously was picked up, so that made it pretty easy to anticipate the arrival.
Такие тайминги на тащи забей.
And it goes to 7 for Vitality. They're back in the lead.
They certainly are. After a 0-4 deficit, Vitality are back in the driving seat. I have to say the coordination not looking as spot on as I expect from Big. We haven't really seen them present anything super aggressive apart from on their pistol or SMG situations. And we're going to another round here with Tizzy on the MP9. He plays that B side, remember. Tapson back on the AWP. He is now top fragging with 13. Looks towards middle. We'll see if we have any sort of changes set up here. We have got Tapson dropping down towards that connector.
Smoke short.
He actually holds up towards the underpass right now. He's actually in a smoke. This could prove problematic, but he seems to be doing very well with it. Jumping through the smoke again. Taking down the RPK, continues his rampage here on Mirage.
А, это ВПшку купили? О, минусов. ПЛП не забирает, значит, надо где-то упало, где не подобрать уже. Судя по всему, в окне. Хотя, может, и подберут сейчас. Там МП9 у одного. Пипец тому РПК сенса. Видели, как он мышкой туда-сюда? Там, наверное, блядь, 0.7, наверное. Алекс лагает этот.
Copy's been quite aggressive in this position. This time beyond the tunnel. Twice he was at the
Ай, Габина, ты шо? Что за ошибки детские?
Alex had an easy one. Spotted at his feet and just fired into it. Sontaras wants to get back in. You can even see him close his eyes in disappointment that he was blinded this time. He'll go down because of it, and he doesn't look too enthused.
У Некса вообще никаких эмоций. Он как был, так и сидит. Ну, нормально, нормально. Надо 9-6 сделать. Надо делать 9-6. Это вообще замечательно будет. Когда последний раз пил? Когда последний раз пил? Я уже с СНГ не пью.
Lost 4 in a row, then 1 with the pistols themselves. So 2 gun rounds in total, and you can see Sontaras 3 and 13. Odd to see him with those sort of stats, but overall, it's going to be Vitality.
Есть чем гордиться, брат. Есть чем гордиться.
Over here, they get 8 rounds on the board, and it's up to just a couple of CTs here to hold on to the AWP. Whether they'll do that, yet to be seen. Tizzy could be in a spot of bother here as his teammate goes down. They've got time to check him. He won't be able to kill both of them. He'll get one, but dropped, and that's going to be Vitality have a huge advantage here in round 15. They needed that AWP and the AUG as his taps did such great work. They find advantages, no problem. It was just such a compromised position there after jumping down towards the underpass of the AWP. And here comes Alex just to take down Sontaras, who was very blind in the process. They won't have much to work with here. 4 MP9s and an
Со вчера не пью достижений на уровень, да.
I would say you have to push somewhere, trying to get a kill back.
Это мой брат на фотке, мы купались.
Gobi goes aggressive. This is the push. The flashes for him have been very unfortunate. Either he's a step further than they anticipated, or they're just not throwing him correctly because he gets blinded again on a golden opportunity to run around the corner and find 2. For his sake, thankfully, Sontaras was trailing in tow because he got 2 immediately after to even up the situation before going down, but it's still Vitality with the advantage.
Yeah, quite a significant one as well. If you think about it now, this is big with a lack of weaponry, and their defense is being spread a lot thinner now in an equal situation where the T's can focus on, let's say, the B bomb site with 3 players, and you could actually just have 1 CT with an MP9 try to defend that. That's why it's such a massive advantage for the T side in this sort of map, as we'll see Zyro smoke towards the window.
And it's not even really like you can go for a stack retake either, because you don't have the weapons for it, but there's no kits.
Yeah.
It's not like you can play the time to try and work in as a unit. at the end either. So they are going to have to be completely
Что,
spread out.
3 в 3 будут брать? Там 2 по 9, правда, у кого-то. Тизен там стоит один вообще. А Тизен у нас с чем? Тизен с по 9. Если сейчас Б заходит, то это, скорее всего, уже 9 Дэвид Виталиков будет.
Well, we'll see what he can do. They're eradicating risks here, clearing out the van and the close-range positions, but have they accounted for the bomb side? They certainly have. Zaiwu continues to be a menace here on Mirage as he confirms the round in my book. There shouldn't be a world where Tabs and the Next can win this without any utility or kits up against 3. With the weaponry they have, it just looks like a very unlikely procedure, but that is a great play.
Yeah, great read.
Да ну серьезно!
They have this. They could push this. MBK's not in a great position. He's got one on either side. As soon as he faces behind,
ну вы серьезно?
He knows shortly that MBK's considering that. He nearly got away with it, but Next holds on. 7.5.
That's huge from Big. They shouldn't have won that
Зачем,
round.
блять, пикать по одному?
And manpower as well, but it somehow it will be Big to defuse the bomb without a kit. It is going to be 8-7. We split it right down the middle. A nice lifeline there for Big right at the end. It's good to post around like that at the end of the half, and that's exactly what it is. We'll take a break and be back with the second very shortly.
Тут такой сидит там. Понял. Тут.
And I'll take it, yeah. Reminding myself to just let go. Don't wonder how far I
Левиант.
Don't look down, never fade out. And I just wanna be.
А вы заметили то, что на канале больше 50 онлайна не поднимается? Вы заметили? То, что YouTube не дает на новом канале больше 50 онлайна поднять. Заметили? Он просто висит 50 чек онлайна и все, больше не поднимает. О, Люда, у тебя 53 подписчика, ля. Люд, я тебе канал поднимаю с нуля. Было 15, видишь как?
We get back underway at 8-7. Vitality in the lead, having done so on the T side, which is interesting to note. And now they'll start off on the CT side with seemingly 4 players ready to battle. RPK has, okay, he's going to do the same. They got 5 sets of Kevlar.
They absolutely do, meaning no kits. And 5 players heading towards the A site for Big. It's Zaiwu to challenge. He's been finding every single kill so far. Doesn't seem to be slowing down as he absolutely eviscerates them at the A ramp there. It's going to be 2 remaining players for Big, but they're not going to get the strong start they had in the first half here. Absolutely not. At this point, it's just a question mark whether they find a kill.
That's a fantastic play. Great read. I was about to point out as well that 2 players had smoke on Big, so they wanted to go for an A execution. Hey, Vitality seemingly understood that. Bought all the armor, got straight in their face, and shut down the A site. So 9-7, and this is what we talked about, Big, coming into this. A lot of teams, or a lot of people, I should say, in Pick'ems, probably not the majority, but a fair few had them at 3-0. You come into the Legend stage halfway through an event, Vitality came into form throughout all of last week, sort of a coming of age in that week to make it into the stage. And now they look pretty hot, I have to say, against Big so far.
Как она может быть? Ну, наверное, пикали последний Vitality. Ну да, Vitality ремувнули Dust 2 и пикнули Mirage. Последний остался Mirage.
If one player goes down, actually won't hurt them too much. It means actually you get an extra rifle against the AKs. As Apex will try and farm some cash with that sort of mentality in mind. Ideally gets 2 there for the extra cash.
Одно хп у Тапсона осталось.
They should still win the round hands down. Tapson goes down to 1 HP just to know. So incredibly close to getting $1,200 there and a couple of kills. That's not meant to be. At this point, they'll probably be a little less aggressive.
Группе еще МП9 забрал. Ты хоть новую группу создай, а то я узнаю, что с тобой там. Зачем? Какой смысл? Пока не хочу.
Protagonist on the team for many reasons. But Xantara's kind of is on the other side, and I think he's only got 4.
He's got 5, I believe. He's got 2 that last round with the MP9. They got his numbers up a little bit. But he was 3 and 13, yeah, 5 and 15 now. So Glock only, probably not going to be increasing that number anytime soon.
По головам Танекс там прошел. Слава богу. Я думал, сейчас еще одного заберет, блин.
Very far removed, but it gives him a chance to chat about.
Я одно хп у Тапсона осталось. Сейчас, смотрите, троих развалит, проверяй. Ой, увидел.
We'll just throw the nade in and hope for the best. Waiting to see if he'll get intel, anyone close. Chuck it in. Not giving anything here, really. He's going to blow himself up. That's cool. There we go. It will be
неплохо, неплохо. 2 раунда подряд взяли, это уже хорошо. Это уже хорошо.
Pain, but overall, like I said, they can actually get rifles now as they go into round number 18, the AKs and a Krieg for next, just to know. Now that's a weapon that we didn't see as much of in the previous stage of the tournament. We saw plenty of Orgs, that's for sure, but not many Kriegs. And they've got a couple of them. It's Gopi and next. Maybe
я на бегов ставил 0.3.
Whether this will be a new meta going forward.
Ну типа, если сыграет, вообще будет ништяк. Я на комплексите на выход ставил, а все ставят 0.3 их.
Rate of fire on the AUG is actually very similar to, if not the identical.
Хрен знает.
That the Krieg has such a different spray pattern and firing rate to the AK. It's a little bit more difficult to learn. But also that the AK has the one-shot potential still, right? So you're not going to get as much of a benefit from it. But there were a couple of players talking about, you know, if you want to play the angles game, if you want to get out the Krieg, you can certainly play it right back on some of the entries.
And if you're a player like Gopi, for example, holding flanks, so making sure you're positioned correctly, that could be a fantastic weapon. But there's Xantares again struggling as he goes down with no real damage inflicted. By himself, not flashed in, just challenged the AK, and he will be dropped in the 4-on-4 now. 1 minute remaining, Tapson. He's got connecting control. You see Apex
там уже ковры занял.
It's a very strong position for the CTs to hold.
RPK не увидел, но это выход будет через коннектор. Ой-ой-ой. Оп, перетяг пошел. Хорош! Там еще на коврах у нас кое-кто сидит. 40 секунд осталось, но походу выхода бы не будет, судя по всему.
Galil on the opposite side of the spectrum for Tizian.
Сейчас RPK должен чекнуть. Нет, под коврами никого нету. Коннектор заходит. Ой-ой-ой. Хорош. 2 в 3 должны брать. Этот раунд до 19 секунд еще осталось. Поторопились. Вообще поторопились.
Yeah, scrappy round, but they get it done. It's the Kriegs actually proving to be very successful there, especially that shot from Gopi towards Shaw. You could see he could take his time and just tap away and make sure it was a clinical headshot there. After the initial kill, we thought Vitality would have the advantage, but Gopi and Next pull it right back. The 2 players of the Kriegs get all the kills. As will be the first round and a half of 4 big here. They've actually shut down the money pretty reasonably for Vitality as well. They are going to force. They've got 1 rifle in the form of an AUG for RPK. The rest of the players either an SMG or pistol. There's 3 CZs out and an MP9. They have no kits and bare bones utility. So Gobi is playing a very passive, like I said, holding angles, waiting for pushes. Krieg's the perfect weapon for that, as he'll be seeing if there's any opportunities at the start of the round. Xantares waiting for the A push. Got taken down in the Palace last round. This time Nex is there.
Не ты. Не, я сейчас, конечно, посмотрю. Если это Люда, я сейчас посмотрю.
3 in middle, or soon will be if Tizian elects to go all the way down. Heard a smoke, though, toward the B apartments. And I think that encouraged him to go back up and just see if he could play the pick game on it. He's flirting with the idea, but meanwhile, we go back over toward A, right on board with Zantares, going against NBK in the corner. And there's still no real commitment from this. 54 seconds, bomb still in spawn. That smoke goes into the B site toward window. Tizian certainly heard that they've already used this smoke defensively inside the apartments.
Типа, если сейчас Виталики берут раунд, это будет, конечно, хорошо, но если не берут, то это будет печалька. А их трое. Хорош. А их трое на Б, они не выйдут. Они не выйдут. А вот так... О, господи, что вы делаете? О, что вы делаете? Он с ножом бежит.
They're sponsored by Red Bull now. They've got wings on the big side, but
вы понимаете, он с ножом бежит, блядь. Ему делать нехуй. Здорово. Ой, какой хэшечка. По 20 хп у двоих. Куда ты бежишь, блядь? Направо смотри, беги, блядь!
Can't find a second, but they give away the information, and he is tagged down to 53 for next to go hunting on the Krieg. He's lost track of him, but 2 shots from MBK. Now he knows exactly where he's playing from and what his intentions are to play behind the pillar. And next starts to dance around and win it out.
С ножом, блядь, летит на него. Ну алло, ну что ты делаешь-то, ну?
A slump in form, they go on the bench a little bit, work on the individual skill, maybe clear their heads.
Такой изи раунд отдать.
Actual physical injury, but it seems like his wrist is incredibly strong today. 20 kills and 12 deaths is a huge round of big to pick up. Once again with the Krieg on the T side, we haven't seen many teams approach
9-10, ну это 10-10.
With that weapon, and it seems to be working very well for them at least. And we go round 20 here.
Если сейчас беги выигрывают, мой предикшн уже на 0-3 не сыграл. Ебать, там взлетело. Два шота, блядь, на. Ой, идет, должен... Опа, еще в голову получил. Хорош, так. Но тут вряд ли, конечно, возьмут раунд, но... Они вчетвером, на. Надо уходить. Надо уходить, пацаны. Это Б-выход, пацаны.
Don't have all that much time here at this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, that's the problem. Keep in mind though that he's new to this team, but he's not a rookie to the majors.
Типа сделал вид.
Space soldiers have been here before.
Они все на Б перебегают наоборот.
And here's where the Krieg's powerful. I'm not surprised to see Gobby's team of all teams being the one to start using this on the T side.
А это выход Б. Хорош, NBK! Давайте, 4-3, Ксатар 19 хп, должны брать. Ну куда ты жмешь-то, блядь, ну ёпта Хорош, NBK! NBK, братик! Бери, братан, твой! 4 хп, сука!
Wow, way too close, but big win it. That's all that really matters. They're going to have a struggle of a bye going forward. The full eco get it down to a 1 versus 1 there. He saw that opening frag from Zai, where he did so much damage.
Себя на весь аккаунт Виталик не видно. Бля, пики, конечно, дал нормально, ну сука.
Way too close for comfort, but it is going to be 10-10 and a tactical timeout for Big as they have to work out how they even invest in this round.
And I think this is almost a perfect time for Vitality to even consider a tactical timeout. So they'll take this with open arms, given that their money it's there for this round, but they have to be very careful about how they go about things because they know that they can break big.
Well, Krieg out, got B with the MAC-10. That's actually a very viable weapon in this sort of round, especially if you're going to group up and make an execution play towards B, perhaps. As you'll see, there'll be a few players without helmets on the CT side. Zywoo, glass cannon, no armor at all. He'll get ripped apart. The MAC-10 gets close. And Apex and Alex will also be in a lot of danger. The MAC-10 finds them without the helmets, and it will be a B play, especially you've got that sort of MAC-10 set up. You want ideally him to go in first. It'll be Zantares, though, with the AK, trying to perform here. And again, taking down first. As got B to try and pick things up. Remember, this MAC-10 would against players of our armor.
О, господи, ну алло! Ну что вы делаете? Хорош, Апекс. 1 в 2, пацаны, берите, пожалуйста, я вас умоляю.
To the off and a 1-on-2 when he has to plant the bomb. No, he's not even going to get to fire. Alex just pushes in, denies the plant. And it is Vitality to take the round. This is money gone now again for Big. That's a bold call, I have to say, from tabseN. You'd think maybe even a fake plant with a smoke to your left and then see if he pushes in, but fair enough. He committed to the plant either way. May not have made a difference.
Yeah, didn't work out for him. Certainly had time to play with there. Straight for the plant. Was hoping he could steal that away and then win things out the AW.
Так, а денег нету. Это 12-й, скорее всего. Это, скорее всего, 12-й уже будет.
Just the eco here as we get into.
Я ни на кого не ставлю ни денег. Точнее, они есть, но я не хочу их тратить, потому что с каналами плохо.
Vitality certainly have the upper hand in this round. Should be going 12-10. But the objective for Big at this stage is get that bomb planted. You can see it will be RPK with grenade.
Ой-ой-ой, сейчас гранаты по таймингу вылетят, смотрите. Сейчас, как только Алекс увидит кого-то, сейчас сразу будут гранаты. Ля. Ну!
Уважаемый Никита-сан, мы ввели систему предупреждений, почему заблокировали ваши каналы. Мы скажем,
Пила, иди в жопу. Пила, иди в жопу. Спасибо за датик, но иди в жопу. Весь мажор будешь смотреть? Не знаю.
Also gives Big a chance to get back into it. tabseN's already bought, and they're... Well, I mean, that makes it...
А больше, кроме тебя, никто не мог это написать, понимаешь?
Could have maybe held for one more, because now
вообще
they look at 14 rounds on the board for Vitality.
Well, next we'll have the MAC-10. They've got Godby with no grenades. They're going to have to go. They can see, like, this will be what we call a flash attack round. It's when you go towards the A side. 3 players towards the palace, 1 smoker spawn. You flash over as much as you can, and they just get...
Ой, это фаста выход, блядь, алло! Просто на ноге без всего вышли! Что это было? Ой, я второго в голову! Это прострел, боже мой! Хорош! А говорит, бля, говорит, убил, смотри, говорит, твоих голову, говорит, вообще, говорит, изи, говорит, зашел. Локти погрыз, нормально, все,
хорошо. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's 23rd frag. RPK with 26 as well. And Zyru gets that just before they can plant. I like the approach from Big.
Minus бабки.
Hits one hell of a shot. They weren't expecting such a fast play. And they had limited resources there. But it doesn't work out. And now they're down to Tech 9's PD50s. You said if they lost that round, they're in a lot of trouble. And they found themselves there, right here. As they'll have to try.
Ой, какая хаешечка хорошая, боже.
Taking a bit of a nuke towards middle. That's going to be Godby and tabseN down to less than half.
NBK. Considering Palace. Because Apex can't watch it. He's busy holding off connector. He'll now shuffle further inside jungle, knowing that if one's watching Palace and the other's watching connector, he's watching A main, well, no one. So he has to consider
Он не слышал его, что ли?
position to try and wrap around. Good flash.
Он опять слепую бил.
Still somehow got away with that. I thought that was going to catch him out as well, but Godby goes down.
Хорош.
Godby might have been partially by that as well. So team flashes for Godby this game have not really been something to write home about, considering he's
Надо было бабки на Виталике зря. Надо было 1000 евро своих взять, которые мне остались. И чисто на Виталиков залить, косарь евросов, блядь. И выиграть там евро 500, наверное, сколько там.
Update on the A stream, Renegades versus ENCE. They are completely splitting the difference as well. It's 12-11 in favor of ENCE right now on the T side of Inferno.
If I'm not mistaken as well, that's number 8 versus number 9 in the rankings.
I think they're right. Let's have a look. I've got it here.
Нормальный КФ,
They're right beside each other, so that would be the middle. Yep. So that, and ENCE slightly ahead of Renegades, even though Renegades actually beat them in the Challenger stage.
That's true.
Выиграл бы 500 евро. Поставил бы 1000 евро, выиграл бы 500.
Yeah, well, and it's proving to be. I mean, they're
на Нави косарь евросов
нет,
нет, спасибо.
Я
лучше с деньгами останусь, чем потом непонятно откуда их брать.
Is where he does his best work as he smokes towards a connect, and then he's surely going to try and get in there. Smoke goes down from window. Needs to be very careful of the swing from Apex here, which is coming.
Ай, какая флешечка, какая хорошая!
Going down with nothing. Really well timed there. It's a great play from the CTs.
О, еще RPK минус Тизиан, тут 10-14.
Clinical headshot as RPK delivers another.
После этой катки будут Нави играть.
Unless Big can pull something magnificent out of the hat here.
Ну это бы выход. Ой, куда? Это что, РПК, ну как? Прошу! Ой, это плохо. 3-2, но там один красный. Главное сейчас Апексу не умирать! Блять, я не понимаю, зачем так пушить? Зачем пушить, бля, я не понимаю. 3-5 он пушит, блять.
Wow, found by MBK already. Actually a good position to hold the window from. Tabson's taken that information though and counted it off.
Этот красный.
Left unpunished to go against the op. 4 kills. This would be an ace for Tabson. And he's looking like he's going to get it as well. Zaiwu is going to go for the bomb. That gives Tabson all day to find it. Bomb might deny him of it. Now that he's spotted, he actually will get taken down, so not quite an ace.
No, he hasn't got.
Успей, успей, пожалуйста, сука, блядь!
It was close. It was extremely close. But Tabson wasn't going to give that up so easily.
Зачем пушить надо было? Вообще, хуй поймешь, для чего? 3 в 5, блядь, 3 в 5. Ты пушишь, блядь.
But probably a record-setting amount of aces on the day as well. I think there was something like 6 aces on the first day.
Tabson жесткий, конечно.
You're absolutely right. Tabson, though, that wasn't supposed to be a big round. That was Vitality all day long. That was a 4 versus 2. They head towards B, and somehow, even with 30 points,
ну нормально, не, ну типа, пока нормально, пока нормально. Когда на этот раунд забирать, потому что денег нету.
As we get into round number 26, it will be Zaiwu nailing the jump towards shore. More difficult than it looks as he waits there for footsteps and trying to dodge the flashbangs as well. He actually pushes past the smoke now. You can see Big, even after winning the previous round, still
Там
have
2
2
умпика, кстати, у бигов.
So they need to win this round before we can talk about a bit of a comeback here. As they all have 3 players, including the bomb, waiting at A ramp. And then we'll have Zonteras and Tabson, your 2 main fraggers of the squad, together in towards that underpass. This is the fragging unit here. This is where the damage will be done. They'll head towards Connector and crack open the site before their teammates make their way through.
Тут мид вообще никого нету, они там втроем пода стоят.
2 underneath.
И 2 в андере. Оп, раскид пошел.
Gives boost potential considering there's no one else at top mid, but if they boost, they've got to
Алекс
be
еще
very
в нычке
careful of the
сидит,
fact
лол.
that Zaiwu is right behind him.
Минус
He spots them, but he doesn't have the AWP ready.
Ай!
Player going to window. Thankfully, he communicated that as well. He did so much damage.
Апекс, тащи! Блять, 2 в 3. Должны брать, 4 хп у Тизина, должны брать. 2
хп,
блять, ёб мать. Убивай! 4 хп, 2 хп, блять. Хорош! А это с бомбой.
He's just going to try and beat them to B, but that looks unlikely at this point as well.
А этот с бомбой на Б бежит, смотри, ля. Ля, на фасте, он пуху вообще. Ему терять, в принципе, нечего, да. Ему, в принципе, терять нечего, он на Б идет, блять, ему пуху.
Be a very difficult round for him to win. If he does win it, that's amazing. If he gets a plant, that's enough for at least.
А ему похуй вообще. Просто за бомбу поставил. Бля, если он сейчас еще, если он еще раунд возьмет с 4 хп, с 4, я вообще хрен знает. Молик есть, смоки есть.
Is that? It's very good.
Trouble is, he's put himself in a very one and done
Молик на машину дай, блядь.
Tradable. Or is it?
Oh,
easy headshot, they're not together. He now has the bomb working in his favor. Zaiwu just barely gets underneath the van, and he'll pull it back. 15-11. You're right, it was a good try.
The fact he gets that even 1 kill there and makes things uncomfortable, it's enough. They're going to be able to buy next round. You can see there was no kill as well. If he even somehow delayed that for 5-6 more seconds, it might have been a chance there. But got beat enough for a plant. That's fantastic. I think the fact they were so far out of this round, we managed to give them a bit of money at least. It's not all done in round 27, but it's not looking good either. They're going to need 4 in a row just for overtime here, as we'll see Big take another tactical timeout, and they've got an average. It's not looking good. Around 3K at this point, the very top of the table.
Они должны прилипнуть, да?
With those 3 kills and the plants, you'll have $3,850. The rest of them all hovering around 2,200. So a lot of work to be done here. 1 round costed them the game, and that'll be Vitality going 1-0 here. Remember, they started 0-4 Vitality, and they've brought it right back.
Yeah, they have. Absolutely. And this is a challenger team taking on a legend team and potentially getting the win. Avoiding for Vitality, the minors at the very least. Obviously, there's a much bigger goal at stake here, but that is certainly something that in the future they'll realize is worth it.
Oh, yes. Execution. Smoke's over, boys. Send those pistols in. Got B with the rifle. Now that is.
Ну что, берут 16, не берут? Там денег нету. Там денег вообще нету. Должны брать.
Gobi had the most amount of cash. He keeps the rifle and allows his stars to use the pistols here. Santares, to be fair, 11 and 25, not playing up to that star potential just yet.
No, this isn't quite what we would have expected from him at all.
В Армении, да.
Still has 72 ADR, which
в Армении.
Tragic considering.
He's had a lot of like damage. He'll have lots of one-on-one duels, but the problem is he'll get like 90 damage in, but he loses the duel from what we've seen almost every time. So that hasn't been what we're used to seeing from him.
В Армии. И там тоже, и в Армении, в Армении. Хуя я дал.
Smoke's already down at mid and B. It looks like
the
the call, but Alex
и этого туда же.
Already standing on catwalk. Double smoke behind him. He's limited from the sight, but he just easily can cover off catwalk with the scope on the AUG. Taiwu still inside quad watching first window. Has a player at bench in the form of RPK as well that'll play off of him. First shot goes his way.
Хорош. ГГшечка.
16-11 for Vitality.
Хорош, блядь.
Rightfully so.
Беги пока 0-1. Беги пока 0-1, это хорошо. А я на бегов 0-3 ставил. Так, дальше у нас Нави! Нави! А где Нави? Нави против Г2.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nex is the player that obviously came back in after the whole Smooya thing.
Yeah.
And they decided to bring him to this major. In fact, many websites still had Smooya listed. I think Liquipedia still had that.
It's the same thing we had with the
Golden
other teams.
Ends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's that sort of thing going on. So they don't have a coach behind them, I don't think. So that's the same situation.
Navi
it's a fantastic performance from him. Great to see him back in the lineup performing well because he's certainly someone who fell off of form last year. But overall, yeah, Zontaras didn't do much. The other guys stepped up. They get the win. That's the first and foremost. That's the goal on the Vitality side. Zontaras is going to have to really
на каком канале будет Нави Г2, мне интересно?
Him firing.
Так, Нави Г2, 15-10. Через 5 минут уже начало. Карты пока неизвестно. Стрим. Тут еще доигрывают. Тут еще доигрывают. 14-13, кстати. Да, да, Вова.
And oh my, has it lived up to the expectations so far. Yeah, it started scrappy and then it kind of stabilized in the middle, but now we've gotten to scrappy again, which is awesome. Each team clawing for every inch. And one round.
Джейком. О! Хорошо, и бомба упала. И бомбу проиграли, проебали бомбу. Проебали бомбу, бомбу проебали. Иди ко мне грузчиком, замечательная работа. Бля, я пошел бы. Надо где-то денежку зарабатывать, а то что-то без денежек дома сидеть, что-то как не особо. Чего ракурс вебки поменял?
This is where the confusion comes in because surely Renegades need someone out over there watching. They're now going to find Aerial. I was going to say, get someone over there to make sure the wraparound can't come into play. The bomb's in a horrible spot.
Бомбу-то забрали. Бомбу-то забрали. Ай. Ай. 20 секунд. Ай. 15-13.
Very well read. And now Renegades, who've been up against it, trailing 5-10 after the first half. They've got 2 map points. Yeah, this has been a great half for them. And Jacob is
понятно, nice ответ.
27-17 for him. He's had a phenomenal game.
Человек спрашивает, чего ракурс вебки поменял? Ничего, что уже месяца 3 так стоит, не?
A new in-game leader really struggled to find production on an individual basis. But he's 18 and 20 now. He's got 15 kills in this second half alone. A really nice performance, a really nice step up from him. Chip damage once again, putting a bunch of the
Недавно? Тебе сказать, когда я поменял? Сейчас я тебе скажу, когда я поменял. Уже почти 2 месяца назад. Проверяй. Да какая разница, что ты хочешь ответить? Точнее, что ты хочешь в ответе услышать? Я, может, не знаю, что ты хочешь услышать в ответе? Про ракурс вебки. Я не понимаю, просто прикол. Что я должен ответить? Это ГГ. Это ГГ. Что, почему? Почему поменял ракурс вебки? Просто поменял, блядь, захотелось, поменял, ёб твою мать! Сука, что я не понимаю?
Yeah, the boys. How about that, Alex? Yes, I had him casting my eyes over the scores, and it is a spectacular result for the Renegades. We have got ourselves a new spot opening up in the Asian minor. Let's not forget, of course, the Asia Pacific minor usually features the Renegades as somewhat of a lock-in. Now that spot will be going elsewhere. Perhaps we'll have some Koreans venturing to the next one. Who knows?
Well, Tyler have to go back down there, so they can just.
Navi здесь будет, я надеюсь.
Greyhound, all the regulars. We won't let the new talent through just yet, but that's a fantastic victory from the Renegades just there. They were worried about starting slow. You heard it from Azza, and here they're able to come through. They're able to get both pistol rounds, which is the opposite of starting slow. And I feel like, Alex, they could have had even more rounds in that first half.
How so?
Well, the thing is, they were doing a lot of late round executes, right? They were just forcing back ends. They were getting them to just go back to their default positions and then just swarming like a 5-man B execute onto that B bomb site. It's about trading efficiently.
Sure.
They could have had a few more rounds there where they maybe, would have gotten lucky. It's like a 50-50, right? If they've saved the utility, not the
Ликвид против Ангар будешь смотреть? Не знаю.
It really did look fantastic. I mean, let's talk a moment about Ents and what we saw from them, Jacob. This is a team that a lot of people are expecting to be one of the few challengers to make it to the champions. What went wrong?
They couldn't close out the rounds in the late stages of the game. I think Chad is right when he said that they were pushed back, but I don't think that was a problem by any means for Ents. So I think they played it perfectly fine. I think they had a good game. Losing both pistol rounds, still being able to be very competitive. Losing a very unlucky round with the whole knife.
Братан, блядь, скажи своему учителю по русскому языку, что она, блядь, походу сама не русская, нихуя не знает русский. Ну или ты тупой просто. Это одно из двух.
Okay with the way the game was played out by them. It was not necessarily a bad performance, but the fact they weren't able to close out the rounds and win the game is a big disappointment.
Yeah, to back that up with stats, there were 3 1vx situations in that game, all going towards Renegades, and that Alexi B versus JKS one on that A bomb side. That one right there was the one that, broke the camel's back in my mind. Alexi getting a little bit trigger happy there when JKS jiggle peeked around the box and then able to finish him off once he knows the position.
I was looking at multi-kills as well while on topic of stats, and Jacob, yes, 30 frags, but 11 multi-kill rounds. He was really delivering, and we talked about how, what separates this Renegade from
Но как бы, чё нет-то?
Maybe it is Jacob, this Norwegian, who often does go undiscussed. It's a spectacular performance from him, and a big reason why they managed to pick that one up. We'll continue to break it down, but why don't we seize this opportunity to go ahead and hear from a Renegade himself. We have none other than the brains behind this brigade, Azza, who is with Frankie.
Azza, congratulations first and foremost. But we need to talk about that cheeky twist of the knife from Liaz. Whose decision was that? Because it totally turned things around for you.
I think he ended up running out of ammo or something, and then he just ran to a smoke and knifed someone. So a credit to Jay for knifing someone.
So you can't actually take credit for that one then?
Me? Oh, definitely not. No.
Well, let's talk about the decision to let it go to Inferno, because you've got a much better track record on Train, for example. So why Inferno today?
I don't think it came down to Train and Inferno. I think it was but we did all like the
КСГО на Твиче смотрит 260 тысяч человек. Неплохо.
We just made sure that we were prepared for it, made sure we watched them, and just we're pretty confident heading into it.
Now on your T side, you started strong, but we did start to see some issues, particularly with your banana and on your B bomb site. Are you slightly concerned now that your weaknesses have been exposed to the other teams?
I don't think we showed many weaknesses. I think it was more so that we started pretty slow. We were screwing up some of our defaults, which usually isn't something we usually do. So I think we're heading into the game. I don't think we're sticking to our game plan and playing our own game. I think we're a little bit maybe nervous or something like that. But like credit to them, they destroyed us on some of their eco rounds, which was pretty shitty.
Well, we will hopefully speak to you later today.
Что у него с усами, кто видел? Вот у этого челика вот здесь, смотрите. Вы видели, что у него с усами? У него вот это вот место осталось, а здесь вырезано все. А вот здесь вот остались кончики такие. Я понял. Походу наспор.
Holding fast, holding form. This, I mean, a win versus Ent, certainly not a win versus the Legend team yet, Jacob, but that's enough to get excited.
Почему Никита не просит поставить лайк? А мне похуй на них вообще.
Foundation of Ents is getting, of Renegades is getting stronger and stronger. I think the individuals are stepping up once again. This time around it was JKIM. Next time it's probably going to be JKS. So they have a lot of different pieces, so to speak, to make work. That said, though, I feel that
матч начнется, вот сейчас будет.
To be completely honest with you, I think they should have won.
Next match Navi G2.
It would have been a win for Ents, and I think
через 11 минуточек.
Okay, and then on that bombshell, we will leave it for just a moment. The conversation does continue after the break, though. G2 take on Na'Vi. Star-studded game. We'll see if the game played looks the same. We'll find out after the break.
Музяка такая нормальная. На джойстиках играть было, да. Ёп ты мать. Кто катку возьмет Нави Г2? Мне кажется, Нави возьмут катку, не знаю. Типа Г2 там не особо что-то показывает на групповом стадии. Мне кажется, там висит для Нави должно быть. Ну хрен знает, типа. Are you ready? Россия! Люд, у тебя уже 56 подписчиков, бля, Люд. Канал прям тебе с нуля поднимаю, уже 56 подписчиков целых. Чё? Не понял, что там следующий IEM будет в Сиднее?
Think he can't clutch through a smoke while recording in full resolution and streaming the play to the world? Watch this. Think he can't get famous in a flash? Like become your own meme famous? Watch this. Think he's been there, done that? With Intel Core i7, he's just getting started. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Ну, Next Major в Берлине, это мы знаем. А, турнир следующий. Да ладно. Я думал, мажор через год, который... Давайте 100 подписчиков сделаем ей. Давайте. 56 так до сих пор осталось. Я на шеров поставил 3-0, у них первый раз сразу против фейзов. Знаю, я 0-3 бегов поставил. И комплексити на выход поставил. Я, наверное, знаете, что сделаю? Я, наверное, если угадаю там 5 команд на этом, на вот этом, на Legend Stage, я, наверное, кейсы, которые получу, я, наверное, видосик открою. Типа, вдруг... Я не пов поставил 0-3. Плюс Драгонлор, кто его знает. Всякое же бывает. Какой Драгонлор? Там Драгонлор откуда падает? Там шкобов нету. Это YouTube. Новый канал не будет развиваться, он так и будет 50 онлайна, там максимум 60 может даст и все. Новый канал не будет так развиваться, он не в рекомендации никуда не залетит. Это же YouTube. А я работаю, получаю зарплату, ни на кого не ставлю. Да. Молодец. Я тоже. Я не работаю, ни на кого не ставлю, потому что нехуй ставить. Да. Такое тоже бывает. Кстати, видос, который про Пикем, собрал 2000 просмотров в целом. 57 подписчиков. Люда, прям один человек подписался еще. Да, почти 2000 просмотров собрал. 1928 просмотров. Ради нашей любви готов себя обеспечивать? Давай, донатом. Донатом 1000 рублей жду. На сегодняшний. Я вот сегодня сходил в магазин, закупился на 17 евро. 1000 рублей. Какой даже больше, блядь. А нихуя не купил, блядь, в магазине. Чисто так, на дня 3 прожрать хоть что-то. А, не, я пельмени купил. Там пельмени, большая упаковка, заебись. 1300 рублей, блядь. Го. Кто мне оплатит 1300 рублей? Две минуты осталось. А мне кто? Да, хуй знает. Intel Extreme Masters 3-5 мая. А ESL One 5-7 июля. Ага. Ну, в Сидней далеко лететь, конечно. А платную подписку на этот канал? Зачем она нужна? Ты не оформишь вообще, тем более. Кролик 1К в неделю прожирает. Ай, да. Завтра съезжу на работу, посмотрим. Если устроюсь, то стримы перенесутся. Может, вообще не будет. Хуй знает. А тебе, Дима, только это, да, важно? Понятно. Понятно, Дима. Тебе главное метро, значит, тебе прошел, да? Понятненько. Не знаю, Дримс. Могут выйти, могут не выйти. Да? С другой вкуснее, да? Сюжет в КСГО?
Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
A clash of major champions. Yes, both teams have players that have lifted a major trophy before, and now we find ourselves in Katowice. It's our second game of our first day of the Legends stage. G2 versus Na'Vi. So much to be discussed, just a best of one as these two duke it out. Of course, G2 already no stranger to Katowice or the Counter-Strike, a week-long tour of the Challenger stage, and by the skin of their teeth come through to the next stage of competition up against Na'Vi, whose performance in London got them this far already. First time we're going to be seeing from them in a while, and yet, with so many big names, I find myself asking both Sponge and Pimp, why is there doubt? Why are expectations not quite where they should be coming into a game of this magnitude?
Well, G2 have been proving their worth ever since the roster change with their online performances, and then during the Challenger stage, right? They had some big victories, and most of that came with a map like Dust 2. But the thing is, we're not completely sold. You need to have more than just one map.
Люда, твоего канала даже в поиске нету. Ты в курсе, да? Набираешь Navi G2, твоего канала даже в поиске нету.
There's so many rumors right now that Zeus and Edward are done, that this team are constantly bickering, constantly fighting, that nothing is really cohesive and working. Sure, you have Simple, sure you have Electronic, but is it enough? That's a question mark we need to get answered.
Yeah, and another question I'm going to have to throw to both.
А можно экран не черный, пожалуйста?
To the tales of unrest within Na'Vi. Zeus has been talking how he wants this to be his last year of Counter-Strike, how he's tired of keeping the team together. These are not words of a team that are going to be lifting a major trophy. How much do you think is a little bit of a poker face from Zeus? How much is he playing the game?
I don't think there's much poker face, to be honest. I think Zeus is just telling it the way it is, and I think that's a big problem for Na'Vi. Obviously, there's, as you said, you know, players in that team that can take over a game and win the game by themselves. No matter what happens, you have Simple, you have Electronic, but having a team that currently is not working together, as you were saying, is a big problem. Na'Vi, right now, to me, is a mess, and it's a team I have zero to next to none expectations towards. If they can win a few games here, sure, go ahead, but this is going to be one of those where can they get one win and they avoid,
it's burning my ears.
No, can they get one win and avoid
going
down to the European minor next time? That'll be fine for them.
Simple, Flamey, Electronic. This is a roster that should have never be attached to that sentence. However, there is definitely doubt, and they go up against a G2 that many consider to be picking up pace just a little bit. You can see them on your screen.
Yeah, and they had to do that by beating Fnatic and Tyloo, right, in best of threes. Now, Fnatic, we've already stated the case at the top of the show about they were the #1 seed in that Challenger stage, but they've flopped on out, winning over Tyloo, who were proving themselves in that tournament too. We didn't know what to expect. You know, how much stock can we put in? This is why I said, you know, we have bad data or tainted information, because right now,
20% win-rate.
Na'Vi, for everybody who wasn't aware, they lost to North at the Ice Challenge over there in London not that long ago, and that's, you know, where the doubts cropped up, because going into a tournament like that, I expect them to, you know, be clicking, winning it, taking it easily.
Yeah. What I find super interesting is the fact that we have this seeding system, and the teams have seeded themselves, and Na'Vi is still seeded #3. So either that tells us that people are still practicing against Na'Vi, and Na'Vi are still a strong team, or nobody have been practicing against Na'Vi because Na'Vi is not practicing right now because the team is effectively dead, and nobody knows where to put them.
Whoa,
I'm just saying, in that regard, there's something to be said about that. I think it's interesting to
Na'Vi 20% win-rate.
I think G2 are quite happy for that.
I'm not as doom and gloom as Jake around this Na'Vi roster, and the fact that they get Inferno is probably one of the better maps for them. That's that crossfire over towards, yeah, that's where Zeus and Edward actually contribute, right? This is one of the maps where all 5 pieces of the puzzle can. The problem with a map like this, it's harder for a Simple, it's harder for an Electronic to take over the game. You're being, at least in my opinion, very doom and gloom about this Na'Vi roster. This is one of the scenarios. You're giving one side of the coin, the other is, we've seen this time and time again, a team comes in with no expectations, they think they're dead, and they just win the tournament, or they come out and put in a blistering performance. Na'Vi are capable of that.
I'll never forget Dubai, where NIP truly
had Na'Vi за 5 карт, за 5 карт, 20% винрейта на Инферно. А у G2 67 за 6 карт. То есть Na'Vi выиграли одну из 5, а G2 выиграли 4 из 6.
We'll find out.
Rumors circulating with people not being friends, not getting along, not wanting to practice. Whereas with the NIP, the case were that they were not feeling that they could progress as a team anymore. It was not like the guys.
А по встречам Na'Vi 5 побед, у G2 8.
There was even rumors circulating that Simple is not following.
Причем Na'Vi проиграли 3 карты 14-16 и одну на допах.
Can you imagine? But it sounds like high school. Can you imagine they're gaming and Simple like gets a Frank and says, "Now you follow me on." Look at my story.
You don't want to go into a major tournament having those sort of like words within the team, right? So yes, you're right. You have Simple, you have Electronic. There is a case to be made that maybe Na'Vi just comes out and flush everyone apart, but
Поставь 500 рублей на Нави, я поставил. Дай мне 500 рублей, я поставлю. Я ближе поднесу, давай.
Yeah, they hate each other. They absolutely hate each other's guts. But Simple's got 40 frags and they're doing it again. We'll find out. We really will. And that is the plan in just a few moments' time. I am intrigued. Jacob, you've made your prediction clear. But Chad, with all of that said, you are sugarcoating one side of the story. Who actually takes this one? Are you starting to favor G2?
For me, no. It's definitely Na'Vi, right? And I think it's just the fact that these guys have a much more experienced roster. Unless they're going to come in here and throw away their major hopes and chances.
Я на него и кушаю сейчас. Если бы не ножик бы с фейса, то мне бы кушать не на что было. А так хоть есть что покушать.
So going up against G2, who are slowly proving their worth in stock, I have to have Na'Vi as my favorite.
And that's a good thing, because G2 is not a good team right now. G2 is getting better and better. We saw them progress during the first stage of the major, but for Na'Vi, it's a great matchup to come into, despite all the problems they have right now. I also do think that Na'Vi have a great chance of winning this game, but that's simply down to the fact that G2 is not a team to be reckoned with right now.
Yeah, and I mean, let's remind ourselves, Jax and Lucky, they had quite a quiet challenger stage up until that last best of three. That was kind of where we first saw the young blood demonstrate the potential that clearly secured them a spot in that roster. So I imagine a win condition for G2, if we were outlining them, would be the youngsters continuing to maintain that pace.
That and having Shox play the way he did in the major stage. You know, Shox was very impactful, very proactive. He was taking a lot of initiative for the team. He's also the in-game leader, so can he be on that level again and activate player like Lucky and Jax on his side? That's going to be interesting for me to see if that's going to be able to be done by G2. Just one more thing to note on the Na'Vi thing. I think that's the only team that I've heard of who has not bootcamped leading into this major. So just another testament to the fact that they're not really feeling as a team right now.
Sure. I put a lot of stock in Simple because, in my opinion, he is the best player in the world, right? And Electronic as well. Like, I call Simple God and Electronic as a damn of Counter-Strike, right? So those two as a duo.
Милана 35 лет заходила в ваш профиль.
Drops on the T side, if they can just make it a brawl, they can take over games. I think Na'Vi are in a good position to be starting on the CT side, right? They get started on the CT side of Inferno. If everybody can feel relatively comfortable, Alex, this should be a Na'Vi victory.
Okay, our analysts a little split here, and we're going to be finding out exactly who of them is going to have a smirk on their face in the post-match. But first, the adventure that is the Counter-Strike game. Best of one. What spot in the next major on the line? You have to win one. G2 and Na'Vi start their battle. We're going to head over to the
баба.
Again, it's Vince and Moses to go.
Это как в этом, в КВНе, да? Как в одном шкафу, блядь.
Please welcome G2 Esports.
Ого.
Since the last major, they had trouble making it out of groups, but G2 will
Хера там она
fight hard
поворачивается,
for their
сцена.
comeback here in Katowice.
Фига себе.
And their opponents, they are born to win. Here are
He's born to win.
Led by major winner Zeus and powered by the world's best player, Simple, the heroes of CIS Counter-Strike are here to win their first major title.
CIS. Hero. Simple.
The only thing for certain in this matchup is that there are going
Бля,
to
Фэми
be
так
some
схуднуло, аж не
fireworks. No
узнать.
one necessarily knows the kind of level that's going to be coming out from these teams. Na'Vi has looked like they're rough. There's a lot of rumors swirling around this team. G2, their challenger stage was ugly at the start. They finished very, very well, obviously, even making a little bit of a believer out of myself. But with Simple in the server, with Electronic in the server, with Shox and Kenny,
Начало? Что такое начало? Я не знаю, что такое начало. Какое-то странное слово «начало». Я такого не знаю. Это начало? Это начало. Или начало, не знаю.
And you better believe that Na'Vi are going to have some big performances in this.
Данило!
It's a cliche, but it's just true.
Не вижу препятствий.
Are the heart. They are the
А я вижу препятствие.
These guys need to show up because, as you say, G2 finished
first challenger stage pretty damn good. They started horrifically. I had them going out at one point at 0-3. I thought they'd have no chance, and yet here we are.
300 лет готовящий подругу. Мама, ты так по таймингу заходишь, я смотрю, да?
See a few things in those best of threes they were able to win to kind of move on to the legend stage where you were like, okay, now I'm seeing why the G2 guys are feeling confident. Now I can see the work that they put in and the results of some of that. So that was very cool. You said Simple and Electronic are what, the heartbeat of Na'Vi? I mean, they're everything. They're the brain, the heartbeat, the muscle, the skeleton. They're the entire Na'Vi body. Essentially at this point where I mean, yeah, those guys, you know that if they deliver, they can win these games almost in a 2-on-5 it feels at times, but that's a lot to ask at this stage where teams are going to be at the top of their performance.
Just got a question. I'm really looking at plays here on G2 side. Obviously, you're looking at Kenny S and Shocks. That goes without saying. But they need
авангард. Мотор, здесь нету авангарды, есть авангары. Но авангарды нету. С ноги заходишь, я понял.
Yeah. They looked much better at the end of the week, and I think part of that is just getting a little bit comfortable. And finally, I think there's no.
Давайте хоть 70 лайков добьем.
That's when you look at G2 and we're like, all right, this G2 playing, you can see going through. This G2 playing, you can see being a danger in the legend stage. So I think they will be a legend. I mean, I think they will be a danger to Na'Vi here, and I think there's a great chance that G2 can actually snatch this one away, despite the fact that, you know, Na'Vi is kind of in that weird limbo period, that limping form. I think you'd still look at it as an upset.
Sure, I think you have them down as G2 potentially winning this, right?
I do.
I've gone for Na'Vi, but honestly, when I went for that, for me, it's like a coin flip.
I put G2, and Simple immediately responded with he just goes, okay. So I was like, oh, great.
You've woken the beast.
Yeah, I've pissed off Simple, so here we go. You never know what you're going to find out.
I feel like he's that kind of player, though, that takes that sort of confrontation and uses it as fuel.
Oh, yeah. He loves it. He thrives in that kind of stuff. He's just a human highlight reel. And I think, you know, the desk brought up this point as well with the fact that, you know, Na'Vi have these rumors of breaking apart, of no longer being a team after this major. There is that very dangerous where that almost like brings you together as a team, like the one last hurrah. You're going to go out in a blaze of glory, right? And you never know if everyone knows this team is going to split up, and obviously we don't as the public. The players might know that themselves. They might not split up, but the players themselves might just feel so much freedom and so much less pressure knowing that this is not going to be a long-term thing.
Ебать, Элику 20 всего лишь, он уже женат.
So this could be Na'Vi's chance. This could be where they just turn into this beast.
Я 19 уже сын был.
Let's find out.
Ты о чем?
Jumping into Inferno in just a few moments' time. Na'Vi on the CT side, G2 coming through on the T side, and both squads have a bit of utility at their disposal.
Yes, they do. Shocks picking up 2 flashes and a smoke. Kenny S.
О, пошла жара. Чё? Г2 нип, да? Неплохо. Сейчас бы Г2 нип играли бы. Ой-ой-ой! Плохо. И Simple красный.
Did get a kill because he was burning alive in amongst all of that. So 1-for-1 trade. However, post plant going to be on the cards.
Ай-яй-яй. Одно хп.
Simple's on 1 HP. Definitely not the player from Na'Vi's perspective you'd want in this position. And with the rotation somewhat stalling out, G2 are looking good. Flamey's going to have to go in. Lucky takes his head.
Ну это раунд явно до Г2.
Putting even more pressure on the
Уй, Эдвард! Эдвард! Уй, Эдвард! Хорош! Хорош, блядь! Хорош, Эдвард, блядь! Ебай, Эдвардинho жесткий, ёб ты моя! Кинг Пистол, блядь! Хорош, блядь, красавчик, ёпта!
Really, really well played from Na'Vi, losing that bomb set initially, and G2, that one hurts a little bit. They do get the plant, the extra $800 will help them the next round. They could even drop an AK over if they wanted to here, and they are going to go for a second round buy. Aggressive play to start this out from G2. We saw this in the previous match as well, an early buy.
Красавчик.
Kills, gonna be able to get plenty of utility and AUG. He's playing over towards the B bomb site. 3 players for Na'Vi heading there to slow down any kind of a fast play.
They have a lot more firepower, though, than Ents did. It was Ents that went for that force, but I think Sergey had the AK-47. This time, 3 Galils, Deagle, Mac-10. It is at the cost of quite a few grenades, but they still have 3 smokes to play with here, Moses. They can execute on either side with this utility. Need to make sure they don't get picked off first, though. Kenny S in a dangerous fight against Simple. They decide to back away.
Simple wanted that fight. He actually stepped into it even after hearing the bullets coming out from the Galil. That's going to call over the buy as well for his team. Flamey going to put up that smoke. And even though the Molotov flushes a player who would be at logs out, there's nothing G2 could do to punish it, even if anyone had been there. Utility will be an issue for both of these teams, but certainly for G2. Only 3 smokes left. No flashbangs, no Molotovs, no nades. Body, oh, Edward gets caught with a nade in his hand, and he's the only one that aggressive in mid, all on his lonesome. We saw Simple pushed up on the other side early in the round, but he had given up the angle. Flamey, he's going to be the next one to take action. He's the point man. He bumps it. There's the peak. Jax walks right into it. But the Deagle finishes him off.
This is the other side of that whole debate. So it is Na'Vi. On the other side, the first thing that will go will be communication, and you could see it clearly there. Edward in the middle of nowhere, another pick onto Flamey, and suddenly G2 in a 5-on-3 in their favor. They've only got 28 seconds left, though, and a player in the pit could be all that's required for Na'Vi, and it's that man Electronic. He's going to open up with 2, making 3 kills in quick succession. Holding down the fort by himself, running out of ammunition, doesn't so at least they should be able to get the ball started after all, but this is way closer than G2 should have been in.
Yeah, they've got to be hurt. That is a great triple kill. It gives him a chance. Zeus going to be the point man on the retake, and you have Simple behind him still. But again, much like Edward, Zeus is caught with a nade in his hand. They must 2v1 this. Kenny is too low to take a heads-up fight. He's got to drag Simple into the crossfire. He's being patient, trying to lure Kenny out of position. He does it successfully. Simple, he's the clutch. Lucky's able to hold on and pit, and G2 respond immediately.
It goes to show the caliber of player that Simple is. When he's in 1v2s, you expect him to clutch. And when he doesn't, you're almost disappointed.
When he successfully pulled Kenny out, I thought he had it. I thought that next fight would be his. Great job by G2, even able to survive that 3-man spray down from pit. Electronic doing everything he can. But you're right. I mean, the start of this round was such a disaster for Na'Vi, and you can see just like one less mistake. And that could have easily been a Na'Vi conversion after the pistol. Gonna get a quick tech pause. We also got to see the display of these new rotating stages to decrease the downtime. The stage, the player areas just spin in a circle. We've had moving desks before in Counter-Strike. They're fun. Have you ever ridden a desk? A moving desk?
I can't say I have, Moses. That's on the bucket list.
It's like a carnival ride.
I can imagine feeling like that. I wonder what it's like for the players coming out like that as well.
Yeah.
See smiles on their faces.
Right. Well, the first team's walked out, and then Na'Vi and G2 are just chilling. Just gonna hang out.
So as Moses said, we do have a tech issue. Hopefully it's going to be remedied shortly. G2 though, on the back foot to a degree. Well, they did just win that last round. But I think it's the manner in which they won it at the end that's going to be a bit of a concern for me. That being said, Na'Vi, 3 players got caught in the middle of nowhere for no apparent reason.
And that's what worries, I think, most people about Na'Vi.
Что там бегать, блядь,
все это, что там? Look out for early in their run here at IEM Katowice is, are they gonna? Is it gonna have to just be individual efforts? Because we all know Simple is amazing, and we've seen him win maps, we've seen him win series, essentially all on his own. But to ask him to do that through an entire major cycle is almost way too much. This time it was Electronic with an individual heroic performance to get 3 kills. Basically in a 1-on-5 at that A bomb site. That's not going to be successful for them every single time. That can't be their recipe. So if you're Edward, you can't get caught out like that. You know, if you're over towards that B bomb site and you're peering down towards car, I mean, all of the opening kills that you
Что-то все бегает сзади, блядь, что-то смотрит, посматривает что-то. С чами, типа, челенник включили, что ли?
And it's far away from the bomb sites as well. So I guess essentially just warning signs. The red flags are popping up for the Na'Vi early on in this map.
Very early, yeah, just into round 3. They're going to be force buying. Few players on $1,400 as a result of their previous loss. So already an integral round for G2, a chance to stamp their authority early on in Inferno. And who else but Simple, peeking down mid with a Desert Eagle. G2 not interested just yet. There is a player moving back down again. Wasn't too far away.
Мог попасть.
But systematically, G2 will be taking control over app side, which is going to be very
Там
hard.
2Б, 2 ковры, 1 на лонге, Эдвард на ковре. Ой, Эдвард на лонге.
Here comes a smoke from G2 to the backside of
Ой-ой-ой,
library.
Ректор не зря стал, конечно. А эти отходят. Они просто по таймингу берут и отходят, понимаете?
This is fine for G2. I think they really wanted to go in on that hit, but the smoke and Hall stopped them. But that's fine because there's limited utility for Na'Vi. They've used all but 1 smoke Edward's the only one with one left, and he's on rap side. There's the peek from Zeus. He gets blocked.
это Зевс убил одного.
That's not the worst thing in the world. Edward gonna peek.
Ой-ой-ой-ой, блядь.
Great kills from body. Simple's
aggressive
to get out of the cross.
Хорош!
Two stunning headshots.
Лучший, блядь.
Heroic performance.
Хорош, блядь. Жестко.
And a cheeky grin on his face.
And that, if you're new to Counter-Strike, if this is the first page you're watching, is why Simple is hyped up so much. He can turn rounds in the blink of an eye. Unbelievable deagle work, and right now the tables will turn. Now it's G2's opportunity to feel the financial downturn. They're into pistols, they're into a force buy of their own.
That hurts so much for G2. With just the deagle, Simple, the best player of 2018, hands down. He's had a year that it's going to take a long time for anyone to repeat, unless it's him again. Here we go. Force buy from G2. They're the ones on the pistol, but they got plenty of utility as well.
Ну это опять выход под ковры, походу. Там фулл закуп сделали.
Close up in halls. As the counter smoke come out. Navi's content to let them have this position. They might Electronic about to get firebombed out. Here comes a flashbang. He puts that out. Now he peeks out. Not blind whatsoever.
Электроник, блядь! Зевсулик развалил там! Хорош, Зевсулик! Этого тоже забирайте. Нахрен он здесь нужен, блядь? Заберите его! О, видел же. Ёпки мать. А это плохо. А это плохо. Ебать, что делает, бля? Алло. Можно не так жестко, пожалуйста? Чей, на русском, что на русском? Там не показывают такие кадры. Бля, раздал. Так, денег нету, это 4-1, скорее всего, должно быть. Не факт, что будет, но должно быть. В голову дал.
He's trying to stat pad here in this round. Overextending a little bit, but when it's simple, you let it go. He gets shut down by Jax. Good job with the Glock. You won't see that every day. Electronic gonna turn the corner, and he's almost taken out as well. But Na'Vi are handling this. 4 players still alive, so not a whole lot of damage done by G2. They would like at least one more kill. P250. Important to say as well, as much as we're talking about Simple as the best player in the world, if you are new to Counter-Strike and watched in the past couple of years, shots and Kenny S on the G2 side have taken turns at various parts throughout the history of also being considered.
Я сегодня на нейтралке пыталась на эстакаду заехать, в итоге съехала вниз, гаишник пошел и не сдала.
If Simple is overextending like that, if it happens in the gun runs, if you have the individuals of Na'Vi trying to do too much, that can be punished as well.
Yeah, that freeing feeling that we were talking about, if they know that their time is pretty narrow, can also backfire. You can get too overconfident, you can extend way too much, and G2 will capitalize on that. I do feel it Simple probably will rein it in a little bit more now that there's rifles in play, but look at this play right now. Edward is on A by himself, a 4-player stack on B early on. Now Electronic starts to move away, and the perfect counteractive play.
Чё, вы сдаете на латах? Серьезно? Вы на этом столе сдаете экзамены?
It looks like Na'Vi will get away with that early stack.
That's a really cool counter reaction from G2 to get up mid very, very fast. But as you said, the Molotov and lane slowed them down in a big way. They didn't go up rap side. They're coming in late. Zeus listening in the smoke. Simple gonna get one with the AUG. That's the bomb down as well. Shock is exposed, and Lucky is there to shut down Zeus. Just 1 kill. A 3-on-4.
Что-то механика. Что-то на механике, не на механике, бро. Хорош, импуха. Дедвард, ну ёб твою мать, ну Дедвард.
But Simple still has that bomb right ahead of him. Gonna be a nightmare for G2 to contend with this, but they flashed him out.
Ай-яй-яй. Хорош Флеймич. И Пениса убивай.
It's coming down to the bitter end. Just 2 players remain, 1 on each side. And there's Kenny with the headshot. G2 somehow, some way get that round.
What a grinding round. You're exactly right. I thought the bomb dropping on Rap side would just be a nightmare for G2 to go get it. Props to Jax. First he takes out Simple and Library, but he stands back and he just, gives his life so that Kenny can get away and into the bomb site. And at least get a decent plan out of it. Best position possible for that 1 versus 1. It was a long way for them to traverse. Lucky being able to provide an entry into the bomb site as well. Navi, 4-man stack towards B. That's something they read, if that was going to be, if that's a plan, if they think G2 is going to have some kind of heavy banana presence early on. Either way, that time, it's a cool idea. It just gives up a lot of control in mid, as you could see. Still, G2 had to fight every step of the way. 4-2. Another timeout here.
Пошла ныть. Иди поплачь. Плакать всегда хорошо.
I think relief more than anything else, because they knew they were up against it in that round. Na'Vi, watching back on that, will be pretty gutted they didn't convert. The bomb was out in a horrible spot pretty much from the beginning of the round. But credit to G2, they came out swinging. And the 2 players you'd expect to see at the top for ADR, Electronic and Simple, both around 120 each.
Well, Shox is at 16. Now, it won't stay there for too long. We saw in the previous map with Renegades,
А ГО2 денег-то нету, там музыки. А Нави отдали банан. Мама 100 релку и зашла. А тарелки у мамы нету или только тарелки? Зажали.
But he knew it was a losing effort, and Navi, they're not even going to go for this. All 3 players at the A bomb site are giving it up already. They're letting Zeus do what he can, just letting him die, essentially. This will be a 3rd round for G2. Navi not even wanting to rotate over. That hit was way too fast, way too convincing. And they have no money. They wanted to keep these Augs up in their hands.
Simple, of course, 2 kills on the retreat. Gonna make it that much more taxing for G2, and their economy's not in great shape either. They can't afford to lose too many more weapons out of this.
Simple's going to be one of those players where when you put the AUG in his hands, it's really going to be tough to watch in a way.
Especially as he's a guy that can rifle and AWP, and the AUG is like this weird middle ground, right? So if anything, just place it. This is like the Simple meta.
Yeah, but it's going to be pretty disgusting.
4-3.
That lead is narrowed to just 1 round. AWP is going to be out for Kenny S. Yeah, he's loving it. A couple of exit frags is going to limit the economy growth for G2, but not in any kind of a big way, not in any kind of worrisome fashion. With those AUGs saved by Navi on the defense, they do buy up around them. Electronic on the 5-7, Zeus on the UMP once again, and Flamey with the FAMAS.
0 хп, просто хэшки с 0. Я типа, я за 4 месяца и сдать экзамен на раздолбанной 7-ке такое себе. Я с 3-го раза только сдал. Ой, электроника уже убили. И держит 16 хп.
Yeah, this is a terrible start for Na'Vi, just after they're trying to somehow remedy and salvage this half. It started so well for them. And credit to G2, they're keeping Na'Vi on their tiptoes. These hyper-aggressive rounds now, Na'Vi have to respect this. They're going to end up expending a lot more grenades to stop the counteractive pushes.
And what this done is eventually when G2, you imagine they're not going to do it every single round, that they will slow down the pace at some point.
Куда вы бежите-то? Вы сейвите идете?
Really nervous.
А, реально, не угадывают, смотри. Они угадывают, ля!
And this could be a disaster for the Frenchman. Na'Vi taking a gamble with
ебать, они угадывают!
Weaponry, a 4-man stack towards this B bomb site, and G2 has rotated right back into it.
Oh, no one's going to check sandbags. Flamey could be in for a hat-trick.
Ah!
Body's been Simple. Almost caught between 2 mines. Still does a chunk of damage to Kenny. And at this stage, they may not realize there's more players over here on B.
Хорош, Эдвард!
Edward bomb has been dropped.
Хорош, блядь! Ебать, они угадали! Понимаете? Они угадали. Слушай, мало забрал, нормально забрал, двоих забрал, или сколько? Накоцал, нормально. Самый большой проигрыш Нави на Инферно против Тилинга 16. Одного забрал? Ну, нормально. Там Дедвард помог. Давай, Щимполь! А, там пистолеты, там денег нету. И на шифте отошел.
And it's G2 who are forced onto the pistols in this round. The one deagle on Jax. 3 CZs.
Kenny dipping into his life savings though, just $150 left. Everyone else can buy in the next round.
That might be a blessing in disguise, Vince, because we know the op can be so tough on the T side. We know Kenny S is one of the best oppers in the world and has been for many years, but you know, if you can't afford one, it's not the worst thing in the world. We saw him hit some nice AK shots previously.
Oi.
Simple allowing the first player to cross, looking for the second. That, but they actually push into him through the Molotov. Simple with the USP will not let them pass. He does get dropped to 7 HP, but it's all on the Jax. They're not going to be able to make the most of this. And Edward, long range, going to get the better of Jax. Just what the doctor ordered for Na'Vi, a flawless round.
Yeah, Simple was loving the fact that he had a perfect fight body. Just lets him run through the flames, lets him sit there and take some extra damage. Looking much better for Na'Vi now, and they're even going to switch into a double op setup. We saw it on Simple. Flamey's going to have one as well. 3 AUGs in between it. And another timeout.
Timeout. Timeout.
So what do you think the play for D2 at this stage? They've gone for all these super aggressive plays. Yeah. Is this where they start to slow it down a bit? Or do they just go with what's been working?
I think they're going to have to, because while they were doing those fast plays, Na'Vi had yet to really kind of establish the safety net of their money. Now they have Molotovs, they have smokes, they have HE grenades. So you're going to start taking a lot of damage if you're aggressive in the choke points early on. The double op setup is going to be very difficult, and if you're too fast and not putting flashbangs in the right place, those ops are going to chew you apart. This round, though, this might be fast. 2 MAC-10s, a half buy for G2. They haven't fully invested.
Одни маки просто.
Once again, around the corner, misses that initial shot, but it's okay. He's got plenty of information. Nade chunks down Jax as well. Oh, this could be tough, though.
Что? Никита, гой, ебанешь. Чип на турек, что?
And one of the ops is at the same bomb site as well.
You have electronic there though, but he's moved forward. He's no longer in the pit. He's going to try and take the
Они залезли друг к другу.
Timing for him though. Edward's going to hold on.
Хороший Эдвард.
Two very impactful frags. Another electronics made a move.
Хорош.
He's going to pounce with 2. Looking for can't get it done. A lot of damage is
Один в один против Флейми.
One-on-one. Flamey going to have to make the long traversal move from B.
Сделай чип-тюнинг.
Not been able to get the bomb planted just yet though. Still plenty
Он
of
нормальный
time.
человек или нет, я не понимаю.
Gonna smoke off towards the library side.
Он нормальный человек? Спросите у него, он нормальный человек или нет? Я очень не понимаю.
Has he gone through library side? Neither player really knows where the other is at this stage, but now the bomb has been faked. Flamey's not going to fall for it. Kenny just going to plant safe. This does mean he's going to have a claustrophobic hold though. Once Flamey starts to make a move in, he just has an opener. Sign off at his disposal, and Kenny S with the superior firepower is gonna light up Flamey, and G2 in their first round in a while.
3 kills.
Зачем они показывают Шокса, если там был Кеннис, я не понимаю.
Flamey wanted desperately to have any weapon but the AWP. So unwieldy as you enter into that bomb site, have to clear so many corners. Exactly why he's using the pistol.
Да, норма, что ничего.
That's 2 clutches now.
Если тебе дают, значит все хорошо. Это самое главное.
Goes to show how close and tight this game has been. Even with 2 clutches, G2 still trailed by 2 rounds. But that is
Total Vivers 3400. Кстати, мне надо в КС уже зайти. Мне же надо один матч посмотреть в онлайне, типа.
Shocks now to lead the way. Flamey and Zeus perhaps feeling a little bit nervous. They did have to deal with a pretty decisive contact play at this bomb site earlier. A lot of time for Kenny to peek into the B bomb site with that AWP, but he only had one shot before the smoke is going to delay things.
Posturing just outside, but Electronic a different angle again. MP9 in
This
hand,
stall.
and that smoke is just enough to force G2 back. They're not going to try their hand
И это
this
Б
time
перетяг.
Electronic is one of the best players we have in the game of Counter-Strike at guarding pit as well, and you saw him in the previous round using his, mobility, really positioning himself well in a hectic hit, was able to catch a bunch of players off guard, disappearing into the balcony smoke. It is going to be
Пацаны, уходите, это Б, блядь.
Unfortunately, it's going to be tough. Zeus
Пацаны, это Б.
If they do end up putting one on this choke point, he's going to have
Не,
to
это
transition into the
пацаны,
bomb
походу.
site. Doesn't want two players to be caught outside of the site.
А, не, это Б.
Slight gap in that smoke as well. G2 now going to start to push their authority down. No one checks the boost, but they do. Last tick of that flashbang. If Flamey was unblind, that would have been a whole different ball game. Simple. Back to the wall.
Хорош.
Swinging with the first, looking to secure the bomb site. 8
Жить! 5 секунд!
Can do a bit of damage on his way out, but this round is going the way of Na'Vi. They're going to lead 7-4.
That looked like it was going to be a beautiful.
Так, мне надо в КС-ку зайти
the
срочно.
first good thing that happens for Na'Vi is that they are able to cheat Simple over.
Надо срочно в КС-ку зайти, блядь.
Actually get into the bomb site to hold on while Flamey's boosted up. The second very weird thing is G2 calls a strategy where they have two players wrapping through ruins and construction, and then they throw a Molotov behind the coffin. So the players that are actually rotating in that fashion, Simple feels a little bit comfortable. They have to swing behind that Molotov. I think it did find a little bit of safety in it, but Simple was probably really curious knowing the players wrapping from G2, and then they throw a Molotov right where they want to wrap.
Так, я типа посмотрел.
How those players could take that fight.
Still plenty of time.
And all that with just 10 seconds on the clock.
Smoke off towards the library.
A little bit of mistake on the utility from G2.
G2 know that Na'Vi, though, still struggling financially. They are there for the taking. This round could be another fulcrum point on this first half. G2 going to go force in. It's not going to be a great buy, but plenty of utility, plenty of pistols. And they do have an AK on Lucky and an AWP in the hands of Kenny S. This round could be everything for this half.
Yeah, neither of these teams have wanted to sit around out. Na'Vi has made those gamble stack decisions so they can keep as many guns in play as possible, as many buys on the CT side as possible. G2 as well buying.
Ай-яй-яй-яй, там пушат, пушат.
Perhaps. Pretty typical banana take.
Сейчас чихну.
About is that G2 has 5 players here. Stick around.
Ой, блядь.
In G2 field, the need to readjust.
The problem is that Inferno is one of the most taxing maps for the AWPer. So
О, у меня шея заболела.
to deliver some entries or just lock it down
Спасибо за
with the
здоров.
AWP is going to be an even more stressful situation for him. You have to feel that Body's probably going to have to do work with this AK-47 too. If they can get weapons across from Na'Vi, though, everybody has armor. So this could spiral out of control for Na'Vi. They've given up map control through mid.
Здорово, ребят.
But again, with players like Electronic and Pit, that's only half the battle. G2 still have their work cut out for them. Boosting up Kenny to peek into Pit.
Ой, Дедвард, хорош, Дедвард!
Nearly a third onto Jax, and that could be the moment. Zeus gonna make sure that Banana's no longer an issue.
А там один.
And G2 are forced into a bit of a horrible
стоят.
position here, making a move through the arch side. Getting across to the side at this stage is an absolute nightmare, and Simple is going to punish Lucky. It's all on Jax.
Джекс один остался. Но это 8-4 явно. Фейс Hellraiser 14-4. Жестко.
Simple picks up that op right at the end as well. 8-4 in the favor of Na'Vi.
Yeah.
This is great from Edward, just straight up fights, and part of the reason why he's able to do that, we mentioned G2 and kind of a force by Limbo in that previous round, not wanting to give the round up, just didn't have the utility, didn't have the Molotov to force him out and watch for that kind of a peak. 13 kills for Simple, 13 kills for Edward. It's Kenny S leading the way for G2 at 10.
Yeah.
Mid push. Coming in from Na'Vi,
Что это у меня появилось такое?
cover for Electronic, who's got a position at bench.
Что это такое появилось? Можешь удалить эту хуйню с экрана, пожалуйста? Не. На один бади остался. Что это за говно, алё? Можно удалить это? Что это такое? Уберите с экрана.
It'll be a 9th round for Na'Vi.
Ой.
Looking to grab complete control of this match.
Хорош.
Zeus is going to find that frag on body at the end.
Steam закрой, в смысле?
We'll have a chance to see what G2 has decided.
А, серьезно?
To pull out for one of these last 2 rounds. They've really struggled to get momentum going. They have 4 rounds and a half, but they haven't really been able to string a whole lot together. They just had that one little pocket in the middle of this half where they won 2 in a row. Since then, it's been 5 of the last 6 going in the favor of Na'Vi.
9-4. Но если 11-4 закроют, будет вообще шикарно, конечно. Ну, Шокс одного забрал. Один красный. Дай ему хае туда! Бля, не туда дал.
Spent on all their grenades. They got plenty left. They can stall this out for a good 30-40 seconds at least. Lucky being on 6 HP and with a smoke in his hands, they may feel pressured to get rid of this as soon as possible. Now I'm going to start to make inroads over on the A side of the map, courtesy of Jax, but... Or body, pardon me.
Отходит. Да, это выход, походу, будет. Сейчас Б закидают и быстро на уйдут. Хотя не факт, конечно, но...
I think Zeus was entertaining the idea of it, but now he has locked it back down on B again alongside Flamey.
А нет, это Б выход.
So tough though. Kenny's gonna have to be pretty aggressive with this AWP. Lucky with very low health cannot afford to be the initial contact.
Пацаны, это Б, блядь!
Opening group. Here we go. Flamey's boosted up. It took him a while to clear this out. It's gonna get pre-fired this time. Zeus still waiting. Just wants to stay alive. Doesn't even want to fight for it. Even he's getting spammed though. And somehow he dodges all of it.
Just afterwards, before the rest of his team really had a chance to get even close.
Electronic did throw a pop flash for him. Obviously, did not work out the way it was intended. And from here, Na'Vi going to keep these weapons alive. The op-in simple. Electronic with an AUG. They'll be able to drop weapons if needed.
Они закрывать их будут с двух сторон. Если убьют всех, ну или двоих хотя бы будет хорошо, или АВП хотя бы выбьют. Сейчас Simple умрет, скорее всего.
Now, I was about to say Simple's got banana control, but Kenny S does come out with the AWP shot. Because their economy isn't too good here either, G2. If Simple could have maybe done a bit of damage on the way out, maybe a bit of a lack of a buy coming through into the last round of the half, but...
Any little bit, right? If you take a Molotov, a smoke, a flashbang away, it all counts. G2, though, all things considered, despite some of the struggles they've had in this half, I mean, they've put together a pretty solid performance. And a chance to get 6 rounds, that would be beautiful. Yeah, this is a banger of a tune.
Музяка такая нормальная.
Building up the tension for the last round of the half. It could be such an important one at that.
Not tension, it's building up a dance party.
Че за хаешку? Я и думаю.
Here comes Jax, a similar position to where Shocks ran into the round prior. It didn't work out for him.
Зевсулик, братан, держись, живи, блядь. Зевс, нет, Simple.
Decides to back away into the opposition. This is such a strange round from Na'Vi. Super aggressive round from G2 is going to yield a 3-on-2 advantage, and now all the pressure on Electronic. He's about to get forced by remaining G2 players.
Yeah, but he slowed him down. Smoke in lane is going to make them a little bit cautious. There's a massive gap. What kind of an angle can Electronic find? Simple. He calls Simple back to the B bomb site, and they think maybe Electronic thinks that smoke that he threw in lane has done just enough to force G2 away, but it hasn't. They've just slowed their take, but it's going to be a free bomb site. Shocks has the bomb in pit. Oh, there's an appearance in library. Kenny S down so low, but now he's got the angle, so no more peeking for Electronic. He's got to wait for Simple to come in. The bomb is going to go down any moment. It's a 2-on-3 in the last round. They must go for it.
2 players very low. There is a kit and a Molotov. this in the realms of possibility. Kenny's going to try and shut it down before it can gather any kind of momentum or steam. But decides better of his will go for the peak. He had a slow start.
Электроник, ты шо? 16-4 фейсвин, ну это очевидно как бы.
9-6. Decent little comeback towards the end from G2.
A phenomenal comeback, and they've looked good, trying a lot of things on their T side. They get 6 rounds to the night of Na'Vi, and we'll see how this one concludes after the break.
Не, и третьего, не. Что значит 9-6? 9-й секс. За день. Ой, Лера. Лера. Это то же самое, что ты клавиатуру меняла, когда у тебя твой персонаж в КСГО не приседал. Да, то же самое, Лера. Лера созрела? Не знаю. Чё-то нет, спрашивать, у нее спроси. 1,5 минуты опять ждать, прикольно. А можно не ждать 1,5 минуты, а сразу переходить дальше? Да, у нас как 50 человек было, так и осталось 50 человек. Вот не поднимается онлайн, вообще. Не дает на новом канале поднять онлайн, вообще не дает. Это печалька. Это действительно печалька. Что название канала-то? При чем тут название канала?
Na'Vi up 9-6 going into the second half, and it wasn't just an individual effort. They've got 4 players within just 3 frags of each other, all across the team. It was solid, it was impressive, but G2 as well. A different G2 than we saw start the challenger stage. They clawed just enough rounds out of that T side, out of their offensive half, to make this a tough one down the stretch.
This is where it gets dangerous though for G2. If they can't get a grasp of their economy early on, Na'Vi could just run away with this. And they'd be wise to take a bit of a leaf out of the Renegades and Ents book. It was 5-10 and Renegades bounced back from that deficit. This pistol, it could be the leapfrog that Na'Vi need to move towards the finish line.
When you think of that half as well, I mean, that could have started out so much better for G2. That could have been a great T-side. That could have been them going into this half with a lead. The pistol round was in their favor, and they lost it to a great play from Edward. They won the second round, and the third round as well. They got dropped by phenomenal individual effort from Simple, the 2 1Ds that he had at the bomb site. So actually, G2 could have had a much better half. They looked good on the offensive side of Inferno, and now we're just going to have to see them set up a very nice, as you said, a really good performance on this defensive side. I think they've done a really nice job, all things considered, of limiting the impact of individual heroics from guys like Simple, guys like Electronic. Flamey had a really tough first half. but still finding themselves in a pretty narrow deficit, just 3 rounds.
We've had the big moment plays from like Electronic, from Pit. Simple's had that double deagle, highlight reel worthy, couple of shots, but G2 haven't been completely out of this. You know, Kenny's had some pretty nice opening of his own on the T side, so CT side, you think this is really going to be his half.
This is where Kenny S, I mean, the CT side of Inferno, there have been some pretty legendary oppers over the years who have worked wonders on the CT side of Inferno, and one of them has been Kenny. He is so dangerous on this because it is deceptively like a very, like, oppers can have so much freedom. While they have such a tough side on the T side where they're really, really restricted, the CT side is pretty much everywhere they go. They can be effective with the AWP at finding opening kills, you know, trading kills, limiting the amount of success that the terrorist can have upon hitting that part of the map. You can put him at the B bomb site, A halls. He can get aggressive in halls. He can peek down mid. Can be very, very deadly. And if Na'Vi can't get a hold of him, if they can't limit the amount of rounds he plays with the op, this could be really, really tough half for them.
I mean, we saw Simple do it. He walked down mid with the op a couple of rounds into second mid, very, very aggressively. As you say, he can be so versatile. They had
взял в микрофон, взянул. Короче, что там, блядь, пока полгода проходит?
I mean, we've already seen that G2 in challenger stage. Pretty much everyone on their team can actually.
Пока они там полгода будут играть.
Lucky's done it. Of course, we know Shox can pick up the op as well. So there is some versatility in this team. I agree. He's much better with rifle.
I'd like to see him with a rifle.
Yeah.
But as well, I mean, he kind of picked it up down the end.
Минус бабусики. 3-3-2. Зеленый еспорт крути. Сейчас как крутану зеленый еспорт. А, не хватит. Прикольно. Крутанул так крутанул. Сейчас свои любимые кейсы буду крутить, с которых постоянно что-то падает, и вообще будет замечательно. Прикольно. Еще и окупилась. Так, где? Here we go. О, нихуя, я же говорю, буду крутить свои кейсы, которые любимые. А у них один человек на Б, вы понимаете, да? У них один человек на Б.
Yeah, Nade just to soften him up if he notices him at a choke point. Simple takes a bit of damage. He was dropped over a P250.
Это бы выход надо делать.
He can be pretty deadly from long range, so G2 has to be careful. Flamey in the halls, all alone. There's Jax.
Flamey built body.
Found the kill onto body as he clears things out. Lucky is pretty committed in this position. If Flamey had swung, that would have been really dangerous. And Na'Vi with that pick towards the A bomb site are going to.
Na'Vi походу идут на все-таки.
G2 wants to find some information. A peek down mid, completely blind.
Ай-яй, хорош Дедвард. 3 в 5. Хорош. Хорош.
Before Na'Vi is going to react, and it looks like G2 on the back foot in their pistol.
You probably need Kenny to be more aggressive watching Boiler if you're going to peek down mid. You know, it's pretty stalled, a bit stagnant in its approach. And G2 are going to wrap around Shox towards the B side, but he's effectively the sweeper role at this stage, just going back and forward through Speedway. Na'Vi haven't fully committed yet to either side. They haven't really shown their hand, even though there's 25 seconds left.
And I don't like the setup from G2. They need to do what Na'Vi did and just gamble and stack.
Бля, мне кажется, Na'Vi сейчас сольют игру. Точнее, не игру, а раунд сольют.
Kenny against 5 needs some immediate headshots.
А, нет, смотри, Kenny не сыграл.
And Shox has got to wrap around mid, and this pistol round is all but over, especially now when that goosh comes out. Shox forced away. Jax. Don't even Shox wants to save the kill. Jax is going to go down.
Shox лоу хпшный. Так, пока там это. Я, наверное, знаете что? Наверное, эту игру досмотрим. Я пойду, наверное, на Twitch, пойду метро проходить. Хочу метро пройти, а потом, я думаю, пойду видосы записывать. Метро пройду и сегодня, наверное, и пойду записывать видосы.
What G2 could have done there, that might have been a little bit different. They had Shox kind of playing rotator between both of the bomb sites. You either put him at the A bomb site and have him just kind of stack it, or you put him over towards B and have those players get aggressive and walk down B. So you either have a very quick flank at A, or they find the contact and you at least have 2 players there to see maybe if they can pull something off.
Так что после этой игры сразу на Twitch. После этой игры сразу на Twitch пойду метро до проходить.
All guns blazing in terms of finances. They still have a bit in the reserve. They do have enough pistols and nades to make this interesting if Na'Vi overstep the mark. And it's going to be Electronic going in first with his MAC-10. Looking for information, trying to scout out the place. Shock's going to be smoked out of position, but Lucky will be pretty much untouched.
Забанил вообще.
At the back of the side.
Да. Не замыть, забанил вообще нахуй.
Stall the push a little while longer. Electronic hasn't read the memo though. He's potentially looking for a boost up.
There's a little bit of gap in that smoke on that side. When he jumps up, he might be able to see over it. Or at least be quicker coming through. Na'Vi have at least accomplished making these defenders nervous. They've forced out some utility. There's Electronic to back away even farther. But Na'Vi's happy with that. They are so completely fine. And Kenny S on G2 side rotating towards B, saying they know that 2 smokes have been used at this bomb site. They'll probably want to hit.
Это он уже не первый раз так пишет просто.
He does have a smoke of his own, and actually, that can be the spanner in the works.
Да! Да! Это плохо. А нет, тут Эдвард разбирается, ля.
That was their chance, the crossfire with the Desert Eagles as it stands now. Jax and Body smoked out, going to be moving from 2 very separate angles.
Ай, Флейми хорош. Так, ну этот раунд точно пока взяли. Так, Алекс Шоу. 12. Алекс Шоу.
Try from G2. They did everything right in that scenario. The first 2 kills as well, but G2 still able to just crack open the door.
Блять, как ты своим брикаутом? Где твой брикаут? На твой брикаут. Надо 10 штук, чтобы у тебя трусы к потолку прилипли.
You imagine they toss that into a choke point, maybe down mid, maybe down banana. See if you can soften anyone up. Maybe get lucky with a couple kills.
755 рублей, я еще в ноль. А, 11-6. Не 12-6, оказывается. Сейчас, наверное, 12-6 будет.
No kills. Decent damage onto Electronic, down to 44.
And the worrying sign for a lot of other teams right now is that it's not necessarily just the simple shot. I mean, Edward's been pulling his weight. He's been landing some pretty nice frags. He's up on 17 kills as well. 8 deaths, 104 ADR. A player that's going to certainly turn a few heads. I mean, if you go back long enough,
так Мибер собрали свой состав обратно.
It's been a while since that were the case.
Yes, it has been, unfortunately. Either way, Navi's found an open bomb site at B. Electronics all the way through. Zeus is clearing out the corners.
Фел, Стака, Кулзира, Фера, Фолен. Они собрали свой состав обратно. Те 5 человек, которые играли первые мибры, они составили свой стак обратно.
To A side, they don't want to let anyone survive. They've got SMGs in play in the hands of Electronic. May as well try and farm some money, and he's found some prey as he sprays from behind. Body and Jax have been slumped alongside any hope for G2.
Не наблюдал.
Na'Vi will take a 12-6 lead. It's just a matter of how many more kills.
Что-то там электронику заехали нормально.
Yeah, they're just trying to get bonus money. You can see Electronic
денежку фармить. Зевсу дали денежку фармить.
Flamey's found one at the AK-47. They don't have to do this. They really want the bonus.
Хотел одного взорвать, взорвал другого, блядь. Прикольно. 12 есть. Так, ух ты, ёб ты, блядь. Не! И сюда, не! И сюда, не!
12-6. The op is out in Kenny S's hands.
О, можно сюда
They would
докатиться?
love to have him start this out with the AWP. Just get on a heater and just ride
Пивко.
that to the end.
Ну, понятно, кто же еще, блядь, выиграет. Конечно, Пивко выиграет. Понятное дело, что Пивко, блядь.
Electronic with the SG-553.
They're going to go for the peek down banana, but
Что это за камера?
found. Electronic's going to claim. Kenny S does bounce back with one of his own. And Shox is somewhat isolated now.
Ай, Зевс, проверяй!
No one checked sandbags, and Body's able to
Сэндбокс
double up
никто не
with 2 of
чекнул.
his own. Bit of a mistake from Na'Vi could cost him dearly. Shox nearly burns to a crisp, but still somehow alive on 7 HP for Electronic. Will find him out. SG and Play gonna get 2. And it is the duo that you'd want in this situation, but
А я везде проиграл, приколите, да? Я везде слил.
Back away at least for the moment, or maybe just sit there and stay quiet. Electronic in that corner was able to hear Kenny S rotating through CT spawn. They know that there's a second player at this B bomb site.
2 в 3, конечно, шансы есть, но электроник красный. И тут Джекс на поджиме стоит.
Simple's gonna go for the peak, of course he is. Forces Kenny S away, but the AWP is a new weapon at this B bomb site. Nothing they didn't necessarily know. G2 has pushed Jax out in towards the mid, so we can watch for a fallback, but he's not close enough to be picked off. That would be the nightmare. What can Na'Vi do around this smoke? This is exactly where you want Kenny S. Gotta be mindful. You can see him considering the fact that they can jump through this. A boost over the top of the smoke. There's the kill from Body, saves Kenny's life, and the follow-up kill with the
хорошая попытка,
7 for G2.
Так, 3 за секретки, поехали.
Kenny to relocate there. If he was on coffins, that boost would have killed him. But he moved to the right-hand side, gave him more vision, and also completely wrecked that boost entirely. Plus he knew his teammate had it covered.
300 поставим. И косарь 400 поставим. Все, больше на мажор ставить не буду. Надо хоть что-то сегодня выиграть.
I think that was one of those rounds where Na'Vi just says, let's test the waters. Let's see how exactly they want to hold Banana. Let's see how they're going to hold it early on. They had 3 players there.
Можно выиграть, пожалуйста. Да, блядь, серьезно? Да пиздец, блядь. Понял.
Flashbang is going to completely stop any scouting ability for G2. They're going to back away. They know how vitally important this is. Nade's going to be exchanged. I think Shox may have just caught a glimpse of Zeus.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Я опять проиграл. Понятно. Да ёб ты мать, ты попадай туда.
His eyes puts way more pressure on B than G2 are hoping for this early on in the round.
He's got no shots up fight, and it's not gonna work. Kenny rotating over now, but again, the op stuck behind the smoke.
4 в 3. Давайте, пацаны, 13 забирайте, ёпта мать.
2 players in this B bomb site. What can Kenny S find? He would love to get one. They're being so quiet. Now he's gonna hear the footsteps. Now he's gonna hear the plant go down. You imagine he's gonna spam to try and stop it. It's not gonna work.
Уй, хорош. Ну тут 13.
And the round is over.
Тут явно 13-й пока. Так, 380 рубасиков. Временно недоступен. Нихуя себе, секреточка временно недоступна. Так, 500 сюда. 300 сюда. Ну ладно, поставим последний раз 1200. Вдруг фортанет хоть разочек.
So we were really talking about one way G2 get back into this is for Kenny S to start firing on all cylinders with the AWP.
Поставлю 1500, короче. И сюда косарь поставить. Не, наверное, не буду ставить. 13-7. 13-7. Так, пятихату еще одну. Все, денег больше нету. Просто 700 рублей как будто и не было бы. 21%. Я проиграл опять. Матвей опять. Опять Матвей проиграл. Я и здесь слил. Ни одной ставки, к сожалению, походу, я не выиграл сегодня.
Dropping what weapons they can, so G2 has scraped together a buy. It's not ideal. 2 SMGs and a FAMAS on Kenny, only 2 kits across the board. Pretty good utility, though, all things considered. And Na'Vi seems to really be loving the fact that G2 wants to play aggressive defense at car. They found Shox this time. Previously, they had found Lucky.
Certainly feels telegraphed at this stage, trying to get Banana control early on. Na'Vi will acquire another kill, acquire a bunch of real estate. There is a stack on the side. Firing squad has been established. But with the pick, it would stand to reason that Na'Vi would expect a rotation from at least one of the 8 players. So now they're starting to make a move on A. It would ultimately be a 2-on-4 if they decide to pull the trigger and go for this. This is going to be a very difficult hold if Na'Vi do press forward with the A hit.
Remember, in a similar situation in the first half, Na'Vi chose to stack a bomb site with all 4 players at the B site. Correct. Jax goes hunting for information. A great find on
пивко, блядь.
At least thinning the herd, but there's so much of this map is available to Na'Vi. Zeus and Electronic have just walked in towards CT Arch. No one sees it. Body is going to walk right into Electronic, but he's prepared. He's ready for the fight. And now, the remaining G2 defenders all on their lone sim, 1 at each bomb site. Jack's going to get taken down. That's the A bomb site. Free to take for
Ну, это 14-7. Это 14-7. Че, промокод на Dragon Money вам дать? Вас как раз 40 человек. Давайте я вам промокод на Dragon Money дам. Да, все равно последняя неделя сотрудничества с Dragon Money.
Certainly, they didn't have enough eyes to spread across that bomb site. No one watching Rap side. Getting in towards CT spawn for free is just Na'Vi salivating. Taking a risk and just walking in. They don't even necessarily need to hunt Lucky, but why not? You have a lot of cash. Or not a lot, but a good amount. Although these two players are solo, but Na'Vi doesn't care. Electronic gonna get dropped. They now know where he is. Simple gonna be the last one to challenge. Zeus has too low of health to fight either. They know next round is gonna be limited for G2 on what they can bring into it, so why not try and take everything away right at the end?
Да, не, чуть не работает. Что, почему?
This smoke is pretty huge for Lucky though. Allows him to lock off one of the angles, but of course Simple is going to find him and frag him. No save weapons means that G2 have pretty much nothing.
Everything went wrong for the French side that round.
Это вчера.
7-14, and the most money you have is on Lucky. It's 2,500, and yeah, that face kind of says it all. Nothing to be too cheerful about. I think one last time out for the G2 side as they talk over how
больше не
they
будет
can
сотрудничества. Потому что у меня онлайна нету, наверное, поэтому.
You really have to kind of grind some rounds away before they get there, but I don't think there's necessarily a wrong call for them to make here.
We had a lot of questions coming into this game, you know, how are Na'Vi going to show up? Are they living on borrowed time? I would say this performance is pretty compelling so far.
Им это нахуй надо, блядь. Прикалываешься, что ли?
Yes, it's been much better than I expected as well.
Поддержали бы, блядь.
Similar to G2, the CT side hasn't looked great, but I thought the T side, they put together a pretty good effort, and if a couple different rounds change, I think they have a much better first half to work on moving forward, but either way, haven't really been able to slow down this Na'Vi onslaught. Here we go, push down mid, try and catch Na'Vi off guard, no nades to signal it's coming, and Edward loves that. He loves it very, very much. 4 quick kills.
Жестко.
Money in the bank, ADR, everything you could ask for. I mean, he was already doing well up until that point, so you can't even say, hey, he got 4 kills gifted to him. He's breathing down Simple's neck at this stage, and they're going to have 8 map points. This would put them at 1-0, of course. We're just starting off the group stage of the Legends.
It would also secure the fact that they'll be at least in the challenger stage of the major in Berlin, which will be hosted by StarLadder. Announcement came out just a couple days back.
In September, I believe.
Yes.
So you have that to look forward to as well. But G2, against the ropes, to put it politely, they are really struggling. They are submerged, gasping for air, and Na'Vi foot to the throat. Do you have some names to play?
Херани втроем, смотрите, балкон, под балконом и под сеном сидит. Понял.
Flamey could step in front of that smoke if he wanted to.
Simple убил Шокса.
It appears a little too quick for him. Simple's found a headshot on Sox.
А там один в дарке стоит.
Wasn't even trying to necessarily commit, but that's beautiful. Lucky's gonna love that.
А Зевс убил.
Not that part, as Zeus gets a trade. That's when Flamey pounces on the lurk. A classic lurk. But I think Flamey has called that they're coming down mid, so Na'Vi should be aware. They know that at least one is going to come down mid. Meanwhile, Body is trying to flush Flamey out, but they have just exchanged places, and Flamey now has the information. He can just go over to the B bomb site. It's a 1-on-3 here for Kenny, and he has to go. A kit is not an option. It's got to be a full 10-second defuse, so Kenny's got to find them all. That's going to be it.
Na'Vi выиграли.
Yeah, Body shooting across there just gave Na'Vi all the information they needed. Sure, he's got the first kill. They're heavily tagged in the process. And there we have it. Edward puts the final nail in the coffin. And Na'Vi steamroll to a 1-0.
62% на Нави было.
Not as much limping from Na'Vi as we might have thought, as perhaps G2 was hoping. They looked much more solid than I think.
Сейчас интервью будет с Симплом, походу. Или с электроником. Не, ну с электроником-то навряд ли, конечно.
G2 falls to 0-1, and we're gonna send it off to our friends at the desk.
Thank you so very much. Yes, that was Moses. And we're going to be casting much more for you across the next couple of
Шо? Переведи.
This is another big win for Na'Vi. We had a doubter on the desk, in fact, 2. To break it down, though, I do have none other than Pimp and Sponge. And it shows, once again, Na'Vi may be a bit discombobulated, may not have the atmosphere that they desire for trophy lifting, but managed to best G2 rather comfortably, Jacob.
Yeah, it was a comfortable win for Na'Vi. I think, once again, you know, it's not necessarily Na'Vi playing too well. I think they just have the individuals to deal with G2. So far, what we've seen from G2 in the first stage of the major as well was that they were able to win Dust 2. They were able to play decent on Cash, and Overpass was all right as well.
Sure.
Inferno's not going to be one of the maps they're going to win at all against any of the teams in this game. What I saw right here was not good at all for G2, and I think Na'Vi, despite playing okay,
интервью дайте, я пойду метро проходить.
It's not a win that gives me confidence in them going up against some of the better teams.
Well, look, for me, G2 on their T side is where they got the lion's share of their rounds, and that was through set pieces, right? So that's one thing that they had. Strategically speaking, from an execute dry round point of view, G2 showed a lot more in this game than Na'Vi did. Na'Vi started out very dynamic on their CT side. It appears they've shifted Zeus over towards that B bomb site with Flamey. Simple was basically doing...
Ой, короче, ладно, на Твиче сейчас стрим будет, метро пойду проходить, а потом хуй знает, завтра на работу идти. Так что посмотрим. Да.